Jefferson, Martin, and Kidd, and the Pistons need some help for Rip Hamilton, who had 30 points, the only player in double figures for Detroit in the last.
Early on in my career is you better be good if you step out there, because nobody really cares if you're not.
Well, the thing that can happen very easily is because of lack of mobility, he may have a tendency to stay closer to the basket. Yeah. And if he's effective closer to the basket, that's to the detriment of New Jersey.
Tayshaun Prince, who Larry Brown said wanted to get off early in the fourth game, and the deflection and a defensive play and an early turnover, and that's poison for the Pistons because New Jersey can get out and run when they get the turnover. Here is Jefferson challenging. Rasheed Wallace gets the block, and Martin with the follow.
Oh, you probably won't see that, but that was great weak side help by Jason Kidd to get all that started there. That was a dunk by Ben Wallace, and Jason came out of nowhere to get it.
And maybe the big news there is Rasheed Wallace didn't pick up a foul because he has been hampered with 2 early fouls in the last 2 games and has been non-effective. That's despite his injury problem. Chauncey Billups also trying to get on track and posting up against Jason Collins, and the turnaround by Rasheed at the shot clock buzzer ties the game.
Well, and even though he seems to be favoring that foot, he definitely put weight on it on that fadeaway shot. You still want to see him go to the basket more.
Only gone to the free throw line 6 times in this game, and Hamilton with the foul. And that is the way you want to do it. You don't want to give up any easy layups, and Kenyon Martin will go to the line.
Well, as you see here, Rasheed, he's kind of a mid-post player anyway. This is not too bad. I would like to see Rasheed get to the foul line. Only been to the line 6 times in the series, but that's a good sign for the Pistons. Rasheed able to push off that foot a little bit.
And most coaches judge it by whether it goes in. They always say, go to the basket, big fella. Oh, good shot.
Kenyon Martin coming off his first triple-double, or first double-double of the series with 16 points and 10 rebounds, hitting the first, and he has really been the intensity factor for the New Jersey Nets. Not that they really need it. They have a whole team full, but he leads the way.
Without a doubt. And he is. He's always going to be the intensity factor. He plays hard for them. Jason is more of a leader by example, whereas Kenyon Martin, he's an emotional guy.
And a lot more emotional than Richard Jefferson as well, so it's good they have that factor on the team. Jason Kidd picking up Hamilton in the backcourt. Hamilton getting by, feeding Ben Wallace. Billups, and now single coverage on Ben Wallace going up, and well played. Ben Wallace, who at times has been an offensive factor in the series, ties it at 4.
Well, but still, you look at the Nets on the made baskets even, they're pushing the ball fast, so Detroit definitely had better be ready to react and get back quickly.
Gary Kittles is open and hit the shot. So how do you get energy when you don't have the crowd supporting you? That's the big question.
You've got to really come out, and it's got to be you against the world. The opposing team has to come out and collectively say, hey, we're in this together, we're going to get it done tonight.
Well, you get your energy from the negativity of the crowd if you're on the road. That's a compliment.
And how about a compliment for Richard Hamilton, who gets the basket and a foul. Hamilton getting off to the big start, and 30 points in his last game to tie it in 6.
And I love what the Pistons are doing right here, guys. They're taking everything toward the basket. The only shot that they've had away from the basket was the fadeaway by Rasheed. Everything else has been going to the basket.
Well, one of the reasons why that's so important is if you throw up ill-advised shots against the Nets, all you're doing is fueling their fast break. And so you better take good shots and high percentage shots at that.
Jason Kidd committing the foul, and the Pistons leading for the first time. They did not lead in either Game 3 or Game 4. The ball last touched by the Pistons, and the Nets will have 16 seconds as you look at Rasheed Wallace, and the Pistons were 17-5 down the stretch after he joined the team in that big trade.
The thing you want to watch with Rasheed, though, is late in the game, because that foot starts to get cold. In the beginning, it's just been taped. It feels good now.
Kenyon Martin feels good after the jumper. Martin, who is shooting 48%, has scored 6 of the first 8 Nets points.
And that's a good sign for New Jersey. Kenyon Martin getting going early, gets him involved in the game, and makes him do all the other things.
And the other question on offense is Tayshaun Prince, who was also one of the three players who we're talking about, and he has not been effective. Here is the drive to the basket, and Ben Wallace. So 3 of the starting 5 already in the scoring column. Detroit hasn't missed in 4 attempts from the field.
Well, that's all on Richard Jefferson there. He acted like he was surprised that he was the weak side help. He got there far too late.
Wallace was fronting Kenyon Martin in the turnover. Way ahead is Phillips. Chauncey Phillips with the layup. And the Pistons leading 11-8. So Detroit, and we don't know whether it's the home court spurring them on, but something is. They're playing a lot better, but the Nets are hanging in there with them as Martin now has 8 of 10 points. Big start for Kenyon Martin on the road.
That is a big start for Kenyon Martin. My old former coach, Jim Lynham, Dee's father, used to tell me, guys, when a guy gets it going in this league, you got a problem.
Great speed from Hamilton to Rasheed Wallace, and nothing wrong at that point. As you mentioned, it's still early in the game as Rasheed Wallace gets the lay-in. The Pistons are 6 for 6, and the Nets want to talk it over.
He's on defense, so that's to be understood why the shooting percentage will go down. Larry wants to play good defense, and so do the Nets in order to get out and run.
In fact, the Nets are 5 for 6 from the field, and Jason Collins, who has not had much of an offensive presence, in fact, he has scored a total of 12 points in the series, gets one there, and the Piston lead down to 1.
A lot of that has to do with transition baskets, though. He's the guy that's receiving the rebounds and getting it out, and usually the trailer. So a lot of times the big guy is left out in the fast break.
Jefferson challenging Tayshaun Prince. Crowd wanted a foul, but none coming, and it goes the other way. Tayshaun Prince, who has been outplayed by Richard Jefferson, that was the case last year and in the regular season, and again here in the playoffs.
It's a great point that you made, Coach, with both of these teams being defensive teams. But right now we're 6-7 minutes into the game, and both teams have only missed 1 shot.
That'll change. Yeah. Turnover, and Ben Wallace leaving it for Phillips. Phillips driving in the lane, and the foul before the shot. The foul is on Martin.
Well, looking at this, I mean, they're throwing the ball inside. They're trying to attack inside, but they're giving it up, and that's the thing that's very important. If you want to get the big guys involved, you got to give them some easy baskets. We can talk about them not participating in the offense, but they're in a dependent position on guards getting them the ball as opposed to an independent position where they can score on their own.
And now the Pistons, Rasheed Wallace commits a foul, an offensive foul against Rasheed Wallace, and all of a sudden, Larry Brown said, you know, some of them in his mind have been mystical fouls, and thus Larry Brown, and he said he wasn't surprised about this, fined $7,500 by the league for his comments in trying to come into the defense of Rasheed.
Well, have you ever heard a coach say that his player really fouled anybody? I mean, I wanted the referee to call the game the way I wanted to call. I didn't want him to call it fair.
Kenyon Martin with a follow tip-in. Good hustle by Kenyon Martin, and he has ignited the Nets, and Lawrence Frank early on, 10 of the 14 for New Jersey.
And following up what you're talking about, Coach, with Rasheed, I've been on the floor with Rasheed, against Rasheed plenty of times, and he's definitely on a shorter leash than most players just due to what his antics.
Driving in the lane is Tayshaun Prince, trying to tap it in as Wallace out of bounds, and his last touch by Detroit.
And as you see here, we got the rebounding, offensive rebounding, Kenyon Martin. And what puzzles me, Coach, is these Nets are out offensive rebounding the Pistons for the series. That shouldn't happen.
And the Pistons have the length, right, John?
Yeah, but a lot of those rebounds, I think, are coming off the floor. The Nets are much quicker, and most people think of rebounds synonymous with jumping, but a lot of it is hitting them off the floor also.
Jason Kidd hitting his first shot of the game was 8 for 15, 22 points. 11 assists and 10 rebounds, and that was his 6th net triple-double of the playoffs. Of the 7 he has achieved in his career, Jason Collins fouling Ben Wallace as he tries to come around in the lane.
Good job of acting by Ben right there to draw attention to himself.
And it's been a rebounding series all the way, and you can see Detroit has had the rebounding edge in only 1 game.
Well, and if you look at that, graph that we just showed, you can't beat a team by letting them constantly beat you on the offensive boards. Defensive boards one thing, but offensive boards, you've got to make certain you keep them off of.
Barry Kittles doing a number on Richard Hamilton, and here's Kittles for three. Kittles off to a big start, has 5 points, and has hit both of his shots, and the Nets now opening up a 6-point lead.
And that's New Jersey's game. That's where they're at their best, getting the ball in transition off missed shots or off turnovers. They make you pay.
So the crowd, late and quiet, we might add, and still filing in after the traffic problems and the weather problems. Here is Phillips missing the three, and Kenyon Martin clears the rebound.
I really feel for Rasheed, Coach. He is out there. He's giving it what he got, but he cannot push off that foot. It's very tough for him to establish any kind of post position.
And as time goes on, he's going to feel it a lot more.
And Rasheed got a hand on it, but it was recovered by Martin. 8 on the shot clock as Jefferson posting up against Tayshaun Prince. Leaves it for Martin. Off the mark, and Prince getting the rebound. The Nets right now, from the field, have hit 8 of 11. Off to a big start and a 6-point lead with 4:40 to go in the first. And they're going to call the foul on Jefferson. Richard Jefferson picking up his first.
Work on your passing skills, Jason.
Anybody can pass it.
Well, Jason Kidd was in a huge shooting slump as Rip Hamilton gets knocked to the floor, but the foul will be charged against Hamilton, his second personal.
And I don't know about that one.
I don't either.
I think
He probably saw his right arm, but his right arm didn't do much.
I think that's more of a no call right there.
It's a no call, but I think officials are getting sick of this flopping.
Yeah.
Everybody's flopping at the drop of a hat. Every three-point shooter now, once he shoots the ball, you get near him, he falls on the floor.
Hey, flopping's part of the game, Coach. I couldn't have played my last 3 or 4 years if I wasn't allowed to flop.
You were a flop artist at the first degree. Barry Kittles with a high arcing shot, and Ben Wallace grabbing the rebound. That's his first of the game. Pistons coming back with Phillips, and he tried to go up with a layup against all the giants inside of the Nets. Last touch by New Jersey with plenty of time on the shot clock, and going to the bench are both teams for the first time.
You know, this is a great example as why Lawrence Frank decided to go with Kerry Kittles on Chauncey Billups. It's that even when he gets beat, he still has the length to make up for something with those long arms to where he can come from behind and block shots, get his hands on ball.
Rodney Rogers coming in for the Nets, and Lindsey Hunter replaces Rip Hamilton, who goes out with 2 fouls. So the Pistons, after the 6-6 start, scoreless in 4.5 minutes. Ben Wallace going up, and that doesn't drop. So the Pistons in a big drought, but still trailing by 6. Jefferson with a lane to the basket. No one there to pick him up as he drove the baseline, and an 8-point net lead.
Well, that's just not going to work for the Pistons. You got to get back. You got to pick up, because if they don't get the first basket, the Nets look in transition to come down secondary and get a basket.
And Tayshaun Prince, who coming into the game was 3 for his last 20 from the field, misses a 3 with under 3.5 to play.
Tayshaun's really been struggling the last 3 games, and now starting out again that way tonight.
And the Nets on an 11-0 run here in the final minutes of this first quarter, trying to win one on the road. They know they will have to do so. And Martin with a turnaround. That was a solo job all the way, as Kenyon Martin now with 12.
Kenyon looked over here at us, Coach. I think he likes when we're doing these games, because he seems to play like a monster every time we're here.
And good passing by the Nets, but Lindsey Hunter can't convert. Battle for the loose ball, and here comes Kittles, and Jason Kidd leaves it for Kerry Kittles, the finger roll, and that produces a foul against Detroit. Again, the Nets fast breaking with a 10-point lead.
You know, here's off the miss. The Pistons have to get back. Can't forget about Richard Jefferson, one of the best finishers in the league.
You see, and you're right about definitely getting back. And getting back, and you got to recognize who's back there. Once you stop the ball in immediate danger, you got to pick these guys up, because the Nets are running with a purpose. They're not going to reset. They're coming with the idea of attacking you offensively.
And Mehmet Okur replacing Rasheed Wallace, and right now let's send it to D-line.
Well, Dick, I want to go back to Rex talking about the defense that Kerry Kittles has played on Chauncey Billups. Kerry saying, he prides himself on knowing the nuances of his opposition's game, and then he tries to bait a guy into doing something that they think they want to do, like Chauncey thought he had the extra step, but Kerry will know that he can get there. Very smart. He does a lot of it by feel.
And he has got the longest tenure of any current Net. He's in his 7th year with New Jersey. And a 15-0 run here has left the crowd silent, and the Pistons with something that they have to really be concerned with as Ben Wallace misses inside and the steal by Chauncey Billups.
That's a terrible pass, but you got to live with those. And we talked with Lawrence Frank about that. Jason has 3 or 4 of those a game.
And even the layup by Ben Wallace doesn't go, and he couldn't have gotten a better shot than that. Here is Kittles in motion for the 3, in and out, and fighting for the loose ball, won by Mehmet Okur, and they've got Tayshaun Prince down court. Right now, the Pistons just want to get a basket, and they finally do, with Chauncey Billups in the layup, ending the long drought. They missed their last 11 before Billups got him to within 10.
And Coach, nothing looked wrong with Chauncey's back there.
Well, they said nothing was really wrong as Rodney Rogers from outside, that's his specialty, comes up empty, nearly a minute and a half to go, first quarter.
Rodney had a better shot without the dribble.
I'll tell you what, the Pistons are in transition slowly, both offensively and defensively.
Okur with the fall away, and it goes in. Mehmet Okur from Turkey in his second year, and he and Hito Turkoglu, the only other Turkish players in the league.
And that could be a very big basket for this kid. This kid's a very good player, and the addition of Rasheed Wallace has really limited his minutes, but he could give them very big minutes tonight if he gets a little confidence.
He had 8 points, second high to Rip Hamilton as Jefferson misses a reverse layup attempt. The crowd in the game, under a minute to go. Billups going for 3 off the mark. And Larry Brown will always wonder why you take that early shot and not develop the inside.
Well, I could tell Larry right now is very frustrated with Chauncey Billups. He had 2 guys ahead of him. One a great finisher in Tayshaun Prince, and decided to pull up and shoot the 3.
Ball, and he did none of those in game number 4.
He was very frustrated, very frustrated.
Nets by 8. Jason Kidd behind to Rogers. Kenyon Martin posting up. He's been the big scorer with 12 thus far. Working against Corliss Williamson, who's entered the game, and Okur with the rebound. Differential of about 7 seconds between the shot clock and game clock. Billups to Williamson. Great feed by Chauncey Billups.
And that's what Larry Brown wants. He wants Chauncey to break the defense down, get into the paint, and find guys. Get others involved.
So the Pistons come back with 6 straight points after a 15-0 New Jersey run. And right now, Jason Kidd at the point playing for the last shot of the first quarter.
Really got to contain Jason here. Can't let him get into the paint.
And Hunter committing the foul, and the Pistons had a foul to give, so not a shooting situation.
Well, looking at this, Chauncey Billups' back seems to be a lot better on offense than it is on defense. I call them defensive injuries for players. But one of the things that the Nets have an advantage of is having Jason Kidd to dictate the pace of the game. Larry's at somewhat of a disadvantage in not having that leadership there, in that one guy that can control things when things aren't going well, get you the easy baskets.
High scoring first quarter. Although New Jersey had 31 in game number 3, and the turnover, not enough time.
Mystic player.
Start of the second quarter, Jason Kidd remains at the point. Jefferson is in there. Aaron Williams and Lucius Harris have checked in as well. And there is Kidd. And Aaron Williams taps it to Jefferson, who's fouled, and the basket counts. So Aaron Williams with a very alert play to tap it to a wide-open Richard Jefferson. He gets the basket, and a foul on Darvin Ham, who has come in along with Mike James.
Well, and you see this is an example of the Nets scrambling for loose balls. I think that they're so much quicker right now than the Pistons scurrying for loose balls. We tend to look at only jump rebounds, but it is important to dive, to run, to pick balls off of the floor.
I agree with you, Coach, that they are quicker, but I don't think that's going to wash with Larry Brown when he watches this jump, because he put a lineup in there that should match up quickness-wise with the Nets.
So here is James, along with Darvin Ham, Corliss Williamson, Mehmet Okur, and Lindsey Hunter. So 5 reserves, not one of the Pistons on the floor started the game, as opposed to 3 for the Nets. Okur firing for 3, way off the mark. And the quick pass from Rogers, but look at the way Kidd recovered. Harris leaves it for Kidd and finds Harris again inside.
Tough break, great pass.
And there's James in the lane. They want to work the ball inside to the Pistons, although they don't have any real size other than Mehmet Okur right now, is posting up against Aaron Williams, 10 on the shot clock. Here's Okur with the fall away and the air ball. He's missed his last two.
He needs to check the sights on that gun.
Ball deflected. And helter-skelter basketball right now, and the Pistons wind up with it. Here's Hunter challenging Lucius Harris, and they'll call the offensive foul.
That's a good call. I know that the crowd obviously does not like that here, but Lucius Harris anticipated well, and that's a very good call.
3 on Lindsey Hunter now.
And I've got to feel that this kind of basketball is to the benefit of the Nets. They want to play transition. They want to get out. Jason Kidd can do this, and this is what Detroit doesn't have. He can break the defense down if he doesn't have the fast break and still get layups.
So Lindsey Hunter with 3 fouls coming off the bench. Hasn't hardly played at all. Played like 5 minutes. Has 3 fouls. So Rip Hamilton has to come back in. Remember, he picked up 2 in the first quarter. And there is Aaron Williams with the push. I don't know whether Okur flopped or not, but he went down in a hurry.
That's a bloody Divac special there.
Dick Stockton along with Rex Chapman. The coach, not the coach's son, John Thompson and D. Lyman as we see it again. Wow.
Yeah.
How could he push him so hard?
Yeah, he couldn't.
Everybody's flopping all over the place. And, you know, it gets to a point where an official at a crucial point of the game gets irritated by that and makes the call the other way.
They get tired of it, that's for sure.
And Ben Wallace returning to the game as Okur goes out. And Rodney Rogers called for the pushing foul. It's a 9-point lead for the New Jersey Nets in the opening 2 minutes. Trying to take a 3-2 lead and win 3 in a row. Here's their scoring thus far. And led by Kenyon Martin, who got off to the big start with 12 points in the field on 5 for 8 shooting.
Well, they're spreading the wealth around. You get a lot of that when you play with Jason Kidd.
Chauncey Billups back in, so the starting guard tandem of Billups and Hamilton each scored 28 in game 2 in the lineup. Now bad pass, now it's deflected. So John Corbin right there indicating it was deflected by the Nets, so the Pistons retain possession.
Can anybody say discombobulated? What a horrible possession.
And I think you're at such a disadvantage when you don't have a Jason Kidd as a coach. Because if anything breaks down, he has the savvy on the court enough to create something out of it. Detroit doesn't have that person out there right now to be able to run that offense the way they want to run it in half-court sets.
You know, I know that Ben Wallace is not a three-point shooter, but that shot hit the shot clock. I don't know if I've ever seen that. That was a jump shot. They hit the shot clock.
I have to tell you guys, offensively, the Detroit Pistons are still discombobulated.
Yes, they are.
Well, it's the reason why Ben is open. The other coach knows he can't shoot.
Kerry Kittles with the runner. Kittles now with 9, second leading scorer. And right now, the New Jersey Nets playing on the road are about poised the Detroit Pistons. And the pass inside, and another net foul out on Rogers, his second.
And Ben squares up and just a bit outside. What was that?
You know, he had a defender on his arm as well.
I thought maybe somebody deflected it up there, but no, clean shot to the shot clock.
It wasn't like he was wide open, guys.
In all fairness to the big man,
Oh, come on.
the clock was running out.
You know, John, if they only had the three-point shot when you played for Boston, you know, it would have revolutionized big men shooting. Jason Collins in the lineup again for the Nets. Hamilton passing to an open Corliss Williamson, who hits. 2-point basket by Corliss Williamson, 6th man of the year a couple of years ago, brings the Pistons to within 9. They're shooting.
Corliss is in there to give offense. That's his primary reason. And if he can make a jump shot, that's key.
But, you know, see, this is a perfect example of what I was talking about. Jason Kidd is no longer in the game. A lot of guys who are fast with good hands who are not able to play as hard as he plays.
Ryan Scalabrine, who played a big role in Game 3 at the Meadowlands, coming in with a lot of energy of his own. And now Martin working against Ben Wallace, beats him to the basket, and it's slapped away. And retaken away by Lucius Harris behind the Kittles, who recovers. Harris finally, and how many layups did the Nets have a chance to make?
And how in the world? There's 4 Pistons down there, and 2 guards are getting every rebound that goes up. That was a pass by Lucius Harris, by the way, to Kittles.
And the foul is on Billups, his first, but how many great opportunities did the Nets squander underneath?
Lucius Harris has got to be thinking there's a lid on the rim right now. He's missed a couple of layups. But, I mean, great play by Lucius Harris. And watch this little flip here. That's a pass. That's a pass to Kerry Kittles, and look at these guys. Got to be thinking there's a lid on the goal.
And Kittles missing the first free throw. Kerry Kittles coming into the game is only 5 for 10 from the line. Coming into this game, number 5. But he has 9 points and 3 assists thus far. Trying to give the Nets a 10-point lead. And he does not. Rasheed Wallace getting the rebound, so you can see Rasheed not himself as he runs up. In fact, he is kind of skipping as he comes up court, John.
Well, because he's been sitting on the bench, and now that injury is cold. That tape is a little tighter on him now. They probably made some adjustments with it. The longer you go, the more that's going to bother him. So he was just reaching that time. He wasn't even able to jump. I mean, that's a very difficult thing for him to have to deal with, particularly a foot injury.
And Martin gets knocked down, and it seems that the ones who get knocked down end up committing the foul. Martin with his second foul, and there you see the Pistons only 4 of 20 from the field since hitting their first 6 of the game.
And we were talking about Rasheed. He's got that plantar fasciitis, and I think I had every injury in the world while I played, but I had that one year, missed 60 games with it, and it is no joke. I'm telling you, you feel like you've got a marble in your shoe.
Well, he had that problem, and then Rasheed felt better, and then all of a sudden it came back in the New Jersey series, and Larry Brown says, look, I have that too, except that Larry Brown just has to sit down.
It's no joke. And Joey Crawford, one of our great officials, has the same thing, and he's not playing it anymore in the playoffs. Rasheed's toughing it out.
So for that, he deserves an awful lot of credit, too, because obviously he's taking a lot of criticism for a lot of things, but I agree with you 100%. A hell of a lot of players would not go out here and play. I've had players before who's had that, and it's been very restrictive.
Foul is called on Kerry Kittles, and Larry Brown said that Rasheed Wallace has been nothing less than a model citizen, cheering and really helping other players on the team, and Rip Hamilton throws it away. So you never know that the Detroit Pistons, the way they have played since the second game, are of the opinion of many experts, should be not Indiana, but in the NBA Finals representing the East. They have not played up to that.
The first 2 games of this series, they look very, very good. They are extremely funky right now. I don't know what's going on, but they are funky.
Well, they need a positive flow. They really are psychologically more to their own problems right now. Sometimes in basketball, you just need some good things to happen for you.
And the holding foul called against Rasheed Wallace will be his second. Well, get an all-access look at the NBA playoffs. Tune in to the NBA TV playoff show, Destination Finals, every weeknight at 6 p.m. only on NBA TV. The Nets' next foul will put them in the penalty. The Pistons have 3 team fouls.
These are important minutes for New Jersey, getting Jason Kidd a blow. You know, they can continue to keep a 7, 8, 9-point lead with Jason on the bench. That's key.
Jefferson spinning his way in with the arcing shot that drops. Richard Jefferson, who emerging as an all-star sooner than later, you'll see in the NBA now with 7 points.
When I first went to Phoenix a few years ago, Richard Jefferson was at Moon Valley High School out there, so I've watched him progress, and I never thought he was going to be this good.
And Hamilton with another turnover. Hamilton has thrown the last 2 away on the last 2 possessions by the Pistons, who trail by 11. So 9 turnovers, and Hamilton has committed 4 of them.
It's very obvious the Pistons are in a funk right now, and it's a mental thing. This is when you need a pick-me-up kind of player out there. They don't have that one guy that just takes over and uses his individual ability to get them back in the frame of mind they need to be in.
And I think Rasheed Wallace not being himself is a major blow to the Pistons.
I agree with that. That's a great point, Dick, as Richard Hamilton lays it in. But that's a great point you make. And unless somebody like Mehmet Okur, Eldon Campbell come in and give them a big lift off the bench, I don't know that they can beat this New Jersey Nets team.
32-23, the Nets lead, and the pass by Kittles, an errant toss right into the hands of Detroit. Pistons trying to come back. Here is Rasheed short on the 3-point attempt. The ball out of bounds. Last touch by New Jersey.
Rasheed just has no lift. Coach, he's trying. He's really putting forth the effort, but that injury is something, it really takes it out of you, and he's got no lift on his jumper whatsoever.
You know, and all of us who coach talk so much about team basketball. The heck with that. At this point, you need one guy that can use his individual ability, and that's why you call him a star, that lifts you out of this funk. You need individual talent sometimes.
You're right, and Rasheed getting the basket, and you saw Jason Kidd coming back in the game. But who is that man for the Pistons, John? That's the
I
question.
don't think he's identified himself, Dick. I don't think he's out there. It looks like an equal opportunity situation out there right now.
Please, somebody pick up the slack. That's what Larry Brown would be thinking.
I would think that Chauncey Billups has got to be the guy.
And an offensive foul called against Jefferson, his second foul. And the 33-year-old Lawrence Franks unhappy with that call.
As you see, Rasheed Wallace, he's giving it all he's got right here, but he's really struggling, favoring that foot, and well, I feel for the guy, but he's giving the effort.
So the Pistons with Phillips and Hamilton at guard. Up front, Ben Wallace, Tayshaun Prince, and Rasheed Wallace. Their starting five with under 6 minutes remaining in the second quarter. Wallace to Tayshaun Prince. And Prince called for the blocking, or gets credit on the blocking foul on the Nets. And Dick Bavetta get it.
Curious George. Tayshaun, I'm happy for this kid. He's really played hard.
Does he know you call him that?
Oh, yeah, I've taught him that. And it was better than what I called him initially when he first came to school, which he was about as soft as drugstore cotton when he came to Kentucky. But he's really a fine player and a high basketball IQ.
And Tubby Smith, of course, highly recommended him, and that was the reason Joe Dumars said we didn't have to draft Carmelo Anthony, because we felt we had the small forward in Tayshaun Prince. Unfortunately, 3 for his last 23 in the series. Richard Jefferson working against Tayshaun Prince. Dumps it off. Here's Scalabrine from Kittles, and a 3 from Brian Scalabrine. So making a contribution coming off the bench in the last 3 games.
That's terrific basketball right there, and just making the extra pass. Kerry Kittles, he has confidence in his second-year player, Scalabrine, who nails the 3.
You know, what has been interesting is Rasheed Wallace has made the last 3 or 4 half-court plays for this Pistons team.
Turnaround by Hamilton. So Rip Hamilton right now, who had such a big game, has 5 points. He scored 30 in the last game as the Nets lose it out of bounds, and the Nets can chip away at the 8-point deficit.
And this is what I was talking about earlier. That's a very bad pass by Jason Kidd. But Lawrence Frank knows you almost have to live with 3 or 4 of those a game. Jason's going to throw wild, crazy turnovers 3 or 4 times a game. You just got to kind of live with it.
And the Nets had better be careful losing their concentration, because the transition baskets are too easy that now they might be careless.
And Rasheed Wallace, very effective from the right corner, now has 8 points and 2 fouls, and gamely playing on that very sore arch, the plantar fasciitis.
And Rasheed should have been telling Scalabrine too little, because he's got no chance of getting a hand in that shot.
Inside out, Kidd to Kittles hitting the 3, his second 3-pointer of the game, and 12 points for Kerry Kittles. Meanwhile, the Pistons have gone empty. They are 0 for 6 from threes, and it's 38-29.
And I'm going to tell you something, the word point guard is used rather loosely in this profession, but when you look at Jason Kidd, you do see a point guard.
Hey, Tayshaun Prince trying to get on track. Finally hits the basket. After going 3 for 27, Tayshaun Prince brings the Pistons to within 6.
You made a great point a minute ago, Coach. New Jersey has lost a little bit of its edge.
Jefferson trying to bring it back. That's not the way to do it. And the pass to Prince. And Prince gets the basket. And the Pistons have cut it to 4.
Well, they lost that edge when they took Jason Kidd out of the ball game, because they gave the Nets confidence. They weren't running as much when Kidd is not in the game.
Collins can't go inside, and Scalabrine hitting another one. Ryan Scalabrine coming off the bench for the New Jersey Nets in his 3rd year out of Southern Cal.
Brian Scalabrine is going to have a long career in this league, Coach. He doesn't play a lot for these Nets. When he does play, he shows teams around this league what he can do.
I've been trying to figure out why he doesn't play that much, because he can run the floor, he shoots the ball right well.
Very smart player.
Hamilton for 3. He's got it. Hamilton now with 8 points. And now it is a 3-point lead.
And what a difference big confidence makes. Yeah.
Without a doubt. Confidence will take you a long way, and Rip Hamilton has got this team going with his perimeter game right now.
Tayshaun Prince also may have regained his confidence with 7 points in the last 2.5 minutes. So assists, which matches his game 1 total of 7.
We need to keep an eye on that. Dick Bavetta came over and said his partner out there had a better look at it, and he was clearly on the line, but I believe clearly he was not on the line now, that they've taken a point away.
Well, they don't have a second guess. 4-point lead for the Nets, and here's Jefferson shooting over Williamson, and that time the clock shot expired, and the Pistons now getting it done, John, at both ends of the floor.
Well, they're getting it done, but you got to look at the fact that when Jason Kidd went out, it took away some of the rhythm of the game of the Nets, and as the result of it, the Pistons were able to acquire a certain amount of confidence, and now the crowd is behind them, and this thing is changing around a little bit.
Pistons shooting 47%, the Nets still shooting extremely well at 52% in the game, but their lead is 4. Here's Corliss Williamson, one-handing, and the ball is tipped in. I thought there might have been an offensive interference, but nothing called, and Tayshaun Prince gets credit for the basket.
And there's Tayshaun. He gets a little bit of confidence, and all of a sudden he has a nose for the ball.
2 minutes remaining in the first half. Pistons were down by as many as 12 and have fought back to within 2. Here's Scalabrine. He's been hot and stays hot with another 3. Brian Scalabrine, 8 in the first half off the bench.
How about the big redhead?
I've been so impressed with
Why hasn't he played more?
Well, and that's the thing that I was concerned about. I said, the times I've seen him play, he's played extremely well. I like his mobility. He can move. He can run up and down the floor also.
And Rasheed Wallace guarded by Scalabrine. 5 on the shot clock. And the foul. And the Nets already in the penalty. And that will be 3 on Jason Collins.
And Coach, you made a very valid point that the tide kind of turned with Jason Kidd on the bench. I think one thing we cannot discount as Jason Collins is going to get a break, Aaron Williams coming back in, is that there's no Kenyon Martin in there for New Jersey right now, and that their level of toughness really decreases when he's off the court.
Well, absolutely. Both of those guys are just so outstanding, and rest is good, but sometimes it's good for the opponent as well as it's been good for you.
We want to pick something up. There was Hamilton that we said they took the 3-point shot away from. We showed you Tayshaun Prince. This is the 3 they took away, and this is where Hamilton apparently had his right foot on the line. The officials got it right. So there is Rip Hamilton on the bench with his 7 points and 7 assists.
My apologies to Dick Bavetta and company. I knew
you don't have to go that.
Like that.
You don't have to go that far and apologize to him. You don't have to apologize.
I hate giving him any credit.
No, don't apologize. I'll tell Dick after the game that if you said he blew it, and you don't apologize for it.
I don't take it back.
This goes to show the best officials in the house are the ones that have the telescreen.
Yeah.
6 points now for Williamson and the turnover. Tayshaun Prince going in all the way, and Prince coming alive has 11 points to lead Detroit, and the Pistons trail by only 1. All 11 here in the second quarter as we approach 1 minute to go.
The whole body language has changed of the Pistons now. Now you see confidence in the way that they're playing.
And Detroit's playing a straight zone right now, daring the Pistons to shoot.
Kittle stepping back for 2, and the air ball. And this crowd is erupted, and Lawrence Frank, who saw his team with great energy early on the road, has seen the Pistons take over the momentum of this game. And the Pistons looking to take the lead. Last time they were up was at 13-12. Early in the first.
They also had better be looking to pass it around a little bit and take good shots.
Prince going up, fouled. And Detroit can take the lead with 40 seconds left.
And that's very bad defense by the New Jersey Nets because they're in a zone right there, Coach. They're in the zone, and there's no way you can let a man drive from 25 feet out straight to the basket. There's no excuse.
Foul is on Aaron Williams, his second.
Well, I think your point was well taken with the fact that Kenyon Martin not being in there is enticing for somebody to drive because you know his presence and his aggressiveness if you're playing against him as much as the fact that you're playing with him.
And Kenyon Martin, who had 12 first quarter points, and that's all he has to this point, remains on the bench. Mehmet Okur will replace Rasheed Wallace, who leaves the game. Rasheed with 8 points, and really trying to get open, and Gamely playing, obviously hurt. Tayshaun Prince trying to give the Pistons the lead, and he does. Tayshaun Prince scoreless in the first 18 minutes, has scored 13 in the last 5.
Tail of 2 quarters.
Pistons by 1, and a steal by Ben Wallace. He's got Prince, and Kittles gets it back with great anticipation. And nearly threw it away. Playing for the last shot are the Nets, trying to take the lead as we go to intermission.
New Jersey's very fortunate right now. That could have been a big momentum swing going into halftime.
Very fortunate because they have number 5 on their team too.
And Prince guarding Kittles, finding the open spaces, and the rebound by Wallace, and that will end the first half.
I know you needed it to be more assertive, be more aggressive. You knew it. What changed for you in this second quarter?
What changed? I got to the free throw line. I got some layups. We got some turnovers and went fast break, and I got some easy ones, and I think that really got me going. The last couple of games, I really had no easy basket.
Similar to a couple of games ago when you guys had the big third quarter, you did it with your defense. How do you stretch this into the second half?
We just got to continue to play the way we just played at the end of this second quarter. We got to attack the basket. We got to the foul line, which was really important the last couple of games. They've really been dominating us on the boards and then getting to the foul line, so that's what we have to do.
All right, Tayshaun, congratulations. Thanks for your time.
Right now is struggling. He's got the dreaded triple couple points, couple rebounds, couple of assists.
Kenyon Martin liked that. He came out during the warm-ups and he looked at you and he said, I like that triple couple. And I'm glad you had a chance to use it.
Yeah.
So Kidd, ball loose. Collins has it rejected, but right into the hands of Kidd with 3 on the shot clock. And there is a teardrop. I'll call it a teardrop a la Tony Parker. Oh, it's something.
Yeah.
You didn't help him on that
teardrop. No, that was all Jason.
Way to go. Double team Wallace from Hamilton, who has 8 assists. So the point guard right now seems to be Rip Hamilton, John.
Well, that's extremely important that you get that percentage baskets, because then you don't ignite that fast break of the Nets. That's what Larry wants them to get. High percentage baskets, which give you a chance to recover.
And Coach, isn't that just a crazy way, an awful way to start the half defensively? Just ridiculous effort.
And Wallace was held, and the foul is called. The Pistons have their biggest lead, 3 right now.
Well, we've been talking about Rasheed Wallace. If you look at him, he definitely is hampered. You can see now that he's sliding, and his feet probably are hardly even coming off of the floor. I mean, this is not a mental injury that he has. Plantar fasciitis is something that is legitimate. It's not something that somebody's trying to pep you up to get you over.
Clear path foul has been called on Richard Jefferson, his 3rd, and there you see hobbling around, trying to make it go is Rasheed Wallace. You know, he had a great comment, Rex. He said, you know, in April when you're barbecuing, or I should say April, but when the playoffs are over, say July, and he says, you know, you're playing hurt, you really suffered, but if you have a ring, it's all worth it.
I guess Rasheed wouldn't know that at this point, but he hopes to find out.
Well, the thing you have to give him a lot of credit for is that there's a lot of players in this league that wouldn't make an attempt to get out there and play. He's obviously in a lot of pain also.
That's a tough injury.
Phillips, who guarded by Kittles, and that defensive change in the 3rd game of the series, a big factor in the Nets coming back, as Ben Wallace misfired. 3-point Detroit lead. Here is Kidd dishing off. Kittles, plenty of time on the clock for the Nets.
This is not a good possession by New Jersey. Everyone's looking around, looking at one another, waiting for somebody else to do it.
And Kenyon Martin puts it up and gets the foul. It was like an excuse-me shot.
Exactly. Like I said, beautiful possession.
Kenyon Martin had 12 points, all in the first quarter, and we've talked about how his foul trouble allowed Detroit to get back. And there is Martin on the line. The foul is on Hamilton, and Rip with his 3rd.
And you talk about confidence, or lack of which the Detroit Pistons started this game with. Kenyon Martin is just the opposite for the Nets. His body language, his manner, his swagger gives that team an awful lot of confidence.
And, of course, Kenyon Martin confirmed that he's not accepting an invitation by Team USA. They have named several other players, including Richard Jefferson, who will be playing for Team USA in the Olympics this August.
think there's any question Kenyon Martin's worthy of playing on that team.
And Tayshaun Prince over Kidd hitting the shot. Has this guy's confidence come back in a hurry.
And like you said, Coach, confidence, what a beautiful thing.
15 for Tayshaun Prince, Kenyon Martin, and the rebound by Phillips. With under 10 minutes to go, or 2 minutes gone by, Pistons by 2. Home court has held serve throughout this series. Hamilton with a move on Kidd. The return. Good move. Good pass from Rasheed.
Very, very porous defense right now by New Jersey. They just are not into this game mentally.
And it's quite obvious that the Pistons are trying to get high percentage shots. They don't want bad, quick shots that'll start this New Jersey team running again and give them back their confidence.
Now the question for New Jersey, how do they get it back? Collins inside, and the foul will go to the line.
Well, I think they have to play defense stick aggressively and try to get out on the break. When you look at this, Rasheed Wallace just can't move on that. He needs a lot of support. He couldn't get out there and get done what he wanted to. But now looking at this, Rip Hamilton doesn't need a whole lot of help on that one. He smells it now.
I love Rip Hamilton's game. He's kind of a throwback two guard. Got that mid-range jump shot, and he comes and gives himself a chance every night.
Tayshaun Prince committed the foul, and Jason Collins with the free throw. Collins with 3. Again, the leading scorers, Kenyon Martin with 15, Kerry Kittles with 12. Jason Collins from Stanford. That big deal that New Jersey made on draft day with Houston paid off big.
Huge deal, and they've come out smelling like a rose now with the
Jefferson, Collins.
With Jefferson and Collins both.
2-point lead for the Pistons, 50-48. Nearly 3 minutes gone by in the third. Dick Stockton, along with Rex Chapman, John Thompson, D. Lynham, and this time on the baseline, Rasheed Wallace, and on the fast break, Kittles going up with the basket.
And how about that? Kerry Kittles knows exactly where to be. Jason Kidd gets that ball in his hands. He knows he's supposed to get his butt down the court and get his head under that basket. Jason will find it.
They got a great blend here. They got the veteran in Kittles. They got the energizer in Kenyon Martin. Jason Kidd, who sets people up. This is good balance on this team.
Very good balance.
Sean Prince going up, and it's blocked inside. And with the shot clock running down, no basket. Shot clock ran down.
Now that's a very good defensive possession, and that's anchored by our guy Kenyon Martin, coach. He blocked that first shot. The thing is near the top of the backboard.
Well, he's so active, and he creates some pressure. He creates, the opinion that there's a bigger guy in there than he is, but he's so active.
50-50. And Jason Kidd hitting the jumper. Kidd's only third attempt of the game. He's 2 for 3, only 4 points, so he has not been the offensive factor scoring-wise. He always is as a playmaker. And it is a 52-50 net lead, so they regain the advantage. Phillips slicing in, foul, and Richard Jefferson was defending, and Jefferson now with 3.
As you see here, when Jason Kidd gets the ball in his hands, Kerry Kittles knows exactly where he needs to be. Actually, Richard Jefferson gets it in his hands. But he knows he's got to break out, run wide, fill the lane. He's going to get rewarded.
Running is a habit. It's not something that Rex, you can get on a game that these guys know that if they run, Kidd most of the time handles the ball and will share it. And even if someone else has it, they run because they've gotten in the habit of doing it. But teams don't run sometimes because teams don't pass.
Right, and it's a very easy habit to get into when you play with Jason Kidd.
Absolutely.
Chauncey Billups, 11 of 13 from the line in the series. And looking to give the Pistons a tie. Pistons have lost 1 playoff game at home so far this year. That to the Milwaukee Bucks. They came back and won 2 on the road in Milwaukee. And a loose ball foul against Ben Wallace.
Wallace kind of used his hand on Collins' shoulder that time to try to gain the advantage for that rebound.
Big Ben's lucky he didn't get a technical there. He very demonstrative.
Inside, and Martin has stuffed him. That was Rasheed Wallace.
That was smothered chicken right there.
And there is Wallace. And the lob will bring out the fans. Ben Wallace now with 8 points in the game. And it was Hamilton who set it up, so Rip Hamilton getting the job done with 9 assists already, and we still have more than half remaining of this third quarter. Prince got hit by Kidd, feeding Jefferson going in. And the foul is called, and it'll be against Detroit. A lot of bodies flying underneath.
There was a nice layoff pass by Richard Jefferson, who drew Rasheed Wallace to him. Little incidental contact, and Ben Wallace is going to get called with the foul, I believe. No, it's Rasheed. I'm sorry. Rasheed gets called with the foul. Tough play, but a heady play by Jason Kidd to stay in there and strip that ball when Tayshaun Prince came down with it.
The Nets are just so alert and so quick. They think so aggressively. They don't ever get to the point where they relax mentally. They're after the ball.
And there's Rasheed Wallace, and we talked about the 41 technicals a couple of years ago. That has not been a problem with the officials with calling them on the problems until this series.
And just like we said, Rasheed Wallace is a very combustible guy, and as you can continue to see, he continues to have conversation with the officials. Somebody needs to say something to him, grab him and say, Rasheed, hey, settle down. One of his teammates, somebody's got to grab him out here right now and say, look, we don't need this right now.
So Rasheed Wallace picking up his third foul, and Kenyon Martin, who is the scoring leader for New Jersey.
Bad thing with a kid like Wallace is that once you acquire the reputation, it's very hard to even make calls or voice complaints when you're right.
And that's why I said, if fair or not, he's on a shorter leash than everybody else is.
And should be.
Mike James has come in for Chauncey Billups. And the Nets up again by one. Collins and Wallace feeding Rick Hamilton. Then Wallace with the assist. Hamilton now with 11. Tayshaun Prince leads Detroit with 15.
That's a great cut and an even better pass. And I can't say enough about Ben Wallace's offensive skills, the way they've developed over the last few years.
Pistons shooting 56% from the field, out shooting the Nets in the turnover. And this is the Detroit defense that Larry Brown had pride in. They were second in points against and field goal since. And Richard Jefferson has picked up his fourth foul, and that is critical here.
Yeah, that's huge. He's the best finisher on the team, and getting him out early in this third quarter is going to be big.
7 points for Jefferson. 7 points and 4 fouls will lead the game in favor of Rodney Rogers.
That's unfortunate because that's Jason Collins' fault. He's got to be stronger with the ball. No excuse for him to be that weak with the ball at the top of the key. He's got to know guys are reaching behind him.
6.5 on the clock in the third. Hamilton. And the rebound by Jason Collins. So it's Kidd along with Martin, Kittle, Collins, and Rogers. And Kidd missing. He's off the mark tonight, but the offensive hustle by Kenyon Martin.
Quick to the ball every time.
Martin working his way in for the layup. Well done.
And that's a mental thing sometimes as much as a physical problem. But the Nets definitely anticipate and go after the loose balls. You cut down the loose balls, you're in a lot better shape.
And I think that's where it's been most obvious tonight on that particular play, where Rasheed just doesn't have the springiness, the explosiveness to get up there and challenge that, because he doesn't let that happen too often.
And it's amazing.
We're envious of the pockets that he's working with, those deep pockets to assemble that kind of team.
So the Nets leading by 1, and Richard Hamilton, guarded by Jason Kidd, doing a good job with him, and Hamilton shot. Kidd terrific defensively, and here's a 2-on-1. Kittle's going around, and a block, and trying to save it in the corner is Hamilton, and a great block there. Is that Tayshaun Prince? Yes, it is, who made the great play on Kerry Kittle.
Well, and that is a great play. I mean, anytime you see a guy who appears to be out of it, and Tayshaun Prince just works real hard and gets back defensively and makes that play, that makes the coach smile.
I don't know why Kerry tried to shoot it on that side of the rim.
Nets get it back. Billups knocks it out of bounds. Last touch by Billups with 15 on the shot clock.
Well, that's the story, Dick, of tonight's game. The Nets get it back. I mean, they've been picking up so many loose balls out here.
The Nets aren't really sharp right now, and I got to feel like that Coach Frank has to believe that he's getting away with some valuable time with Richard Jefferson on the bench, because they're not real sharp.
But this is a nip-and-tuck game, and the winner will take the 3-2 lead, and the offensive foul has been charged to Kenyon Martin, his third foul. Jefferson, by the way, on the bench with 4 personal fouls for the Nets.
I think one thing we need to really pay attention to here, Rodney Rogers Rodney really struggles against length, and Rasheed Wallace, one of the longer players in the league. You really ought to see what New Jersey decides to try to do right now. They're going to try to go in the post.
The interesting thing, too, is the Pistons are probing to get inside. They don't want to shoot a lot of quick shots, nor a lot of long, wild shots to get this fast break going.
And the call away by Billups out of bounds. Last touch by Detroit, and Kenyon Martin still with a few words for Greg Willard on that last foul, his third. So we have under 5 minutes remaining here in the third quarter. Martin for Kittles. Kittles has all day and is off the mark from three-point range. And here comes Detroit. And Hamilton, who, by the way, has a career-high 9 assists in this game. And that's in his 27th playoff game. Has really done a great job stabilizing things. Tayshaun Prince has it blocked inside, and Kenyon Martin and Collins will get credit for the block.
Nice drive by Tayshaun. I like seeing him take that ball aggressively.
That's his game.
Yeah.
And it sets up everything else for him. 8 on the shot clock. Martin and Ben Wallace. And the net signaling, and it is now a defensive 3-second violation called against Detroit. Larry Brown wants to know where.
As you see, a strong drive by Tayshaun Prince. And lovely defense by Jason Collins. Tayshaun will get that call a year or two from now, and he adds a little bit of muscle.
So the technical free throw attempted by Jason Kidd, and then possession by the Nets. Next foul by both teams will result in the bonus with 4:14 on the clock.
The Nets really have to get something going. They've got to get in a rhythm. They need to get this thing up and down a little bit more. They've been stagnant here for quite some time.
I would think they would need a bigger margin against Detroit going into the fourth quarter on the road. Kittles, one-handed, getting the offensive rebound, and Tayshaun Prince shadowing out there with under 4 on the clock. That's by 2.
They better go to Rodney Rogers in the post. Rodney Rogers had a midget on him.
This will be a penalty coming up, and the foul against Rip Hamilton is 4th, and the Nets will go to the line.
Players have better be real careful right now. You don't want to get too involved with the officiating. You make your point and you back off. Too much focus has to be given to on the court rather than using the officials as an excuse at this time.
Mike James will report, and Hamilton will go out with his 4th foul. Rip Hamilton has 11 points, and as we mentioned, a career-high 9 assists. So Hamilton with 4 fouls for Detroit, and Richard Jefferson on the bench right now for New Jersey.
We're going to keep an eye on this with 3:50 to go. Richard Hamilton going out of the game because he's been big on both ends of the floor for Detroit tonight. And with him off the floor, we'll see if Detroit can keep this up.
They have more men in double figures tonight than they did in the entire game 4, with Prince with 15, Hamilton with 11. They only had Hamilton with 30.
I think a lot of that has to do with their shot selection. They certainly have controlled the Nets fast break with their offense, not with necessarily their defense. They're probing, trying to get the ball inside. They're taking their time and taking the outside shot as a second option.
Still think Pistons have to go into the post here.
Billups, big one for Billups, who's been relatively quiet tonight. Chauncey Billups, 3 for 7 and 7 points, but he brings Detroit to within 2.
Into the post or not, either way. But no, I think that Detroit really needs to take advantage of the size, strength, and length they have inside.
Here's Kittles, and Kenyon Martin working in and spinning his move inside, and the rebound by Prince, and a fast break opportunity, and the Nets quickly get back.
And that's Prince's value, being able to dribble the ball. The guards don't have to come back for it.
And Wallace blocked by Kenyon Martin. Big play by Martin.
2 heavyweights going at it right there. Great offense, great defense.
And Kidd fouled. The free throw line is Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd has had double figures in assists in 3 out of the previous 4 games. Has only 2 assists so far in this one, with 2:51 remaining in the third.
The thing about Jason is his unrecorded assists. You know, he has assists that are legally called assists, but he influences so many other people's play that there's so much unrecorded assists when he's playing.
You're right, like the quick outlet pass that sets up the basket.
Absolutely.
That's what Larry Brown was telling us this morning. He's more concerned with Jason making the pass that leads to the pass that leads to the basket.
61-57, the Nets lead the Pistons. And Chauncey Billups, now Williamson with him, with Ben Wallace, Tayshaun Prince, and Rasheed Wallace. And there is Billups hitting from the corner, and that's a three. Three-point basket for Billups, and it's a two-point game.
Chauncey Billups is playing a good game tonight. He's playing the way Larry Brown wants him to play. He's getting his teammates involved and taking his shots when he has them.
And now they say a two-point. They changed it, although the officials had their arms up. The scoreboard says 61-60. Rogers off the mark. And all of a sudden, the time is called, and they're going to check the clock. And the scoreboard, they're calling it a three. They did originally, so I don't know where they went to two. It was always a three. So the conversion is up and good, and it's 61-60.
New Jersey's really struggling on the offensive end. I don't understand it. I think a lot of it has to do with Richard Jefferson being out of the game, but these guys just have no continuity right now.
I think the Pistons have upped their defense in the same token.
Well, and I also think the Pistons' offense is causing it because they're taking good shots. And the Nets are good when they can get out and run and get early offense baskets.
That is their game, although for a while in Game 4, their half-court offense did the job as well, but they don't rely on that as much, obviously.
Well, there's so much predicated on you taking bad shots and them being able to get out and run, or them getting steals.
And Jason Kidd missing from downtown. The Nets have not made a basket in the last 4.5 minutes, but they still lead by one. Kidd was daring Prince to shoot, and Kittle's in the face of Chauncey Billups. He has been a thorn for Chauncey Billups ever since the change was made defensively in Game 3. We have a minute remaining, third quarter.
Lawrence Frank is getting ready to get Lucius Harris in the game. Right now, the only guy running with Jason Kidd is Kerry Kittle. And they're covering Kerry very well in transition. Jason's got nobody to pass the ball to.
Tayshaun Prince on the reach and foul, his second, but a penalty situation has been in effect, and Jason Kidd will go to the line.
Well, and speaking to your point, Rex, Jefferson being on the bench has a great effect on that fast break also, because he gets out, fills the lanes, and he also can complete the run. He's a guy that's a great finisher.
And Kidd makes the first free throw, and the Nets have been perfect from the line. 11 for 11 at the line here in this quarter. And you mentioned Lucius Harris. He has checked into the game. Kidd now with 9 points, and the Nets lead by 3.
It's really amazing that New Jersey is able to hang on to this lead, because every indication that we're getting right now is Detroit is playing the better basketball.
But the Nets lead, and that's pretty good. They're on the road, being outplayed right now, and yet they lead. Wallace has it stripped away. Fight out of bounds. Last touch by Detroit. Great hustle.
Terrific hands by Kenyon Martin.
Exactly.
Looking at us,
It's
Coach.
so quick.
He really likes you, Coach. Every time he does something on the floor, he comes over here and winks at you, and he's into the game.
He knows I love that defense.
I know it.
And Kidd really having his troubles from the field tonight. Jason Kidd is 2 for 8. And the block shot differential about 5 seconds.
Really look for Chauncey to try to break Jason down here. He's gotten in a little rhythm, made a few shots. Let's see if he can break Jay down.
Kittle's out of the game because Lucius Harris is in, and Billups gets the bounce. Chauncey Billups.
That's a tough shot. Very good defense, but very, very tough shot.
Final shot of this third quarter. Rodney Rogers all the way goes up.
That was a foul.
With that fast break again.
Nick Stockton, John Thompson, Rex Chapman, D. Lineham here as we start the fourth quarter. One of these teams will survive in this game and take the 3-2 lead as Ben Wallace is fouled going in. The Pistons with Mehmet Okur now into the game with Ben Wallace Mike James, Richard Hamilton playing with 4 fouls, and Corliss Williamson. The Nets with Jason Kidd and Lucius Harris at guard, and up front Kenyon Martin, Rodney Rogers, and Aaron Williams.
I've always felt that's where Larry Brown's at his best. Coming after timeouts, late game situations, getting special. He draws up a play coming right out of the third quarter and gets a layup, or essentially a layup. They're going to the line for 2 free throws, but not many games where Larry Brown's going to get out coached late in the game.
And he told us today how much he loves the drills. You know, it goes back to his days at Dean Smith in North Carolina. He says, I don't like the games because I worry too much, but I love the drills.
Yeah. I didn't believe him when he said he didn't like the game. I think he does like the drills. You don't see anybody as active as a head coach on the floor as he is.
You would know, John. Here is Aaron Williams from the corner missing. The Nets have missed their last 9 shots from the field, yet the score is tied, but Phillips has untied it. But James, that is. Mike James giving the Pistons a 65-63 lead.
And that can't be the shot that New Jersey wanted. A 20-footer by Aaron Williams coming out of the third quarter.
What's the difference between a 1 and a 7 anyway when you put that with,
right? Right.
Who's quibbling? Rodney Rogers spins in for the tying lay-in.
Rodney's legs gave out there and got off the floor about 3 inches.
So Hamilton is in with the 4 fouls, but Richard Jefferson remaining on the bench for the Nets. Jefferson has scored 7, so it hasn't been a prolific night for the big 3 for the Nets by any means. And the foul called before the shot. Hamilton is fouled by Harris.
There you go with Mike James getting out on the break, and what a lovely, lovely layup by Mike James, using his body, shielding the ball from the defender and laying it up on the other side.
He came over in a trade from the Boston Celtics the same time that Rasheed Wallace joined the Pistons from Atlanta. He was in Atlanta very briefly, and Aaron Williams with his 4th foul. And all of a sudden, the Nets have picked up 3 team fouls in less than 2 minutes of this 4th quarter.
It's very interesting, too, that the Detroit Pistons are beating the Nets at their own game. They're leading in fast break points.
That's a shocker. James going in and foul. That's 4 fouls against the Nets. 1 more, and he'll be in the penalty for the duration.
The Nets really, really have to be careful right now. The Pistons have come out, they've initiated, been the aggressors this half, the instigator in the action. They put the Nets in the position of becoming retaliators, and the initiators are always going to get the call.
And that's what Larry Brown didn't want to do. He didn't want to take the blows. He wanted to give the blows as Rogers picks up the 4th foul, but James misses his first attempt.
Well, and that's what that conversation that Larry was having about swinging the ball from side to side, making certain that you make cuts. They're probing to try to get inside, as opposed to, again, throwing up wild shots, getting the game at the tempo so the Nets could get their fast break. He's controlling their fast break with his offense.
And Mike James, 1 out of 2, but it's enough to give Detroit the 1-point lead early here in the 4th quarter. And home court has been the charm, and the teams have been energized from the home crowd. And here's Kenyon Martin. It's stolen by James. Kidd is back. Blocks it. Jason Kidd with a brilliant timed block on Mike James. And Kenyon Martin at the other end misses. That would have been a big situation at both ends for New Jersey.
Mike James is giving these guys incredible energy right now.
And the shot from the baseline by Collins misses. What a play by Kidd. May not be scoring, but he does it in so many other ways.
James ran through the play. Jason Kidd getting back, and looked like I thought he was just going to wrap him up and try to foul him, put him on the line and make him earn the free throws. It was a great block. You know, I spoke with Jason this morning, and obviously he wanted to come in here and blow these guys out today, but he said realistically, I hope we're in a position where at the end of the game, we can put ourselves in position to win it, grinding out a game in the 4th.
Obviously more than just this morning, considering how he shot in the last game. Here's Harris for 3, and he's got it. Lucius Harris silences the crowd and gives the Nets the lead by 2.
That's a veteran making a big shot.
And you talk so much about the fast break of the Nets, but when they get in their half-court sets, their advantage is Jason Kidd, because he settles them down and makes them work for a good shot.
Hamilton trying to get the foul. If not the basket, gets neither, but it comes out to Detroit. And James is banged and hit. So now, with 9:15 remaining in the fourth, the Nets are in the penalty.
That's crucial there, but that's a bad luck play. That's a crazy bounce of the ball. The Nets played very good defense, and I like the fact that Lawrence Frank has gone with Lucius Harris. Not the greatest defender in the world, but a very smart player to match up with Richard Hamilton.
There's Lawrence Frank, who never played in the NBA, cut by his high school team 3 times. Never been a head coach on any level. At 33 years of age, has said the right things during the back and forth between games. Won his first 13, and the players are a believer of young Lawrence Frank. And it's tied at 68. And this crowd into the game, they would like to see the Pistons rebound from those 2 lethargic efforts in New Jersey and take the lead in the series.
Pistons look like they're in a zone right now.
They've gone zone again.
Well, Harris trying to get into a 3-point shooting zone. Comes up empty. Here's Wallace. James has been a weapon. Williamson on the drive on the baseline. Nothing doing.
One reason James is a weapon is because he can penetrate. He can break the defense down.
And his teammates know he's looking to find them as well.
James defending against Kidd. Ben Wallace is on Kenyon Martin. Martin tries to force the pass inside. And they're going to call the foul on New Jersey and Jason Collins. This postseason, the highest home win percentage in 14 years. And he talked about Miami with Richard Jefferson. They finished 1 game ahead of New Orleans, and that 1 game gave them a home court advantage. They won Game 7 at home.
They're unbelievable at home. Finally, the 2 series out west, the teams broke through on the road. Nobody's done that so far in the East.
And New Jersey was first in the Atlantic Division. Detroit was second in the Central behind Indiana. But the Pistons have home court advantage over the Nets because they won 7 more games in the regular season than New Jersey. The foul story, Collins, Jefferson, Rogers, and Williams with 4. And Ben Wallace, 1 out of 2. And now they're going to call Mehmet Okur with the foul.
That's a young player getting a call like that. If Ben Wallace would have done that, I don't think any chance he'd have gotten called for a foul this day.
You have to be real careful about your fouling right now because your defense is just as important in terms of doing foolish things as your offense and turning it over.
Look how Detroit is extending their defense right here.
And there's no Jason Kidd in the game. I'd be extending my defense too.
Probably seeing little traps also.
And the reach-in foul against Ben Wallace. Only the second team foul against Detroit and only the second personal against Ben.
Detroit needs to be kind of careful here. That's great defense. And they got to feel like they're right on the verge of creating a turnover. Just let it go. Play your defense just like you've been playing.
Nearly 4 minutes have gone by. 4th quarter. Richard Jefferson back in the game with 4 fouls and the ball knocked away, and they'll call another Detroit foul.
As you see, Ben Wallace here with the aggressive trap. Just a little reach in. I don't know about that foul. Maybe they've got a valid point, but still, you got to keep those emotions in check right now and try to get through this game.
And Mike James picks up the foul. So Ben Wallace and Mike James, 2 quick ones. 3 team fouls now on Detroit. Before you know it, this keeps up. Even the Nets will have a lot of time with the penalty. Kenyon Martin makes the first, his 20th point of the game.
I think one of the reasons the Pistons are so aggressive right now is, as you've indicated, the fact that Jason Kidd is sitting on the bench. It's a normal tendency to test these other guys with the Nets because they depend so heavily on him to handle the ball.
And Rasheed Wallace gets a hand as he comes back in the game, replacing Mehmet Okur. Wallace tonight has 8 points and 5 rebounds. He is at 4 of 8 from the field, and the second free throw by Martin is missed. So the Nets were up by 1 when Rasheed went to the bench, and when they come back, we're even.
Well, we should keep an eye on Rasheed right here because this is the worst time in the world for that injury that he's got.
Ben Wallace draws the foul. Jason Collins called for the personal, and Ben will go to the line to shoot 2. And Ben Wallace so far in the game is 2 of 5 from the line, and that's 5 personals on Collins.
The thing you have to like about Ben Wallace, now he got upset about that call, and maybe rightfully so. But a lot of players, when they get upset, still focus on the officials and don't play hard. He made 2 great hustle plays after
Good
that.
point. And why wouldn't you have a good point, John?
And what went unnoticed there is that Rasheed Wallace, that's where he's so underrated. He's standing up at the three-point line at 7 feet tall, able to see over the defense and pinpoint the pass to Ben Wallace underneath the bucket.
Rodney Rogers comes in. Jason Collins goes out with 5. 1 out of 2 for Ben Wallace.
And Ben's about a 54% shooter, and I believe he just went 2 for 4. That's about right, by my math.
Very good, Chris. Boy, in Kentucky, they taught math to a high degree. Great runner by Richard Jefferson. 9 points. His time limited because of the foul trouble, and the Nets regain the lead by 1.
Jefferson certainly is having an impact since he came in because he's attacking the glass very much so.
And that's what he did when he scored 30 in Game 3. Great feed. Hamilton to Ben Wallace. Rip Hamilton is having a great game with 10 assists, 11 points, a double-double for the Ripper.
And that's one of their go-to plays. I believe they call that elbow 2. And that's to get Rip Hamilton on the back screen and then get him coming off to where he can shoot the ball and make a play just like that.
And Harris goes up, the shot blocked, and now the foul called. And Rasheed has to walk away from the play. He is not the victim of the foul. Ben Wallace is with his 3rd, but now that's the 4th team foul against Detroit.
No, he's not the victim of the foul. But as you see here, this is the call that the former defensive player of the year has to get going for himself. That's a tough call to go against a great defensive player like Ben Wallace on a midget guard.
Totally agree with you.
And as Larry Brown said today, those type of plays get Rasheed Wallace more fired up than any plays is when he feels like an injustice has been done to one of his teammates.
And Ben has a good case there.
I believe so.
Crowd not yelling defense as the free throws are made. The Nets 20 of 23 from the line. Again, a 1-point New Jersey lead. Barely halfway through this pivotal 4th quarter. The 3-point basket by Phillips. His 2nd of the game.
Thing you want to be impressed with is Hamilton's making plays right now.
Detroit with the lead by 2. And we're talking about will Prince, Phillips, and Rasheed Wallace step up? And they have.
I think without a doubt. Tayshaun Prince has done it in his time, so has Chauncey Phillips, but I don't think you can discount the effort that Rasheed Wallace has had on this game emotionally.
Spiritually, that has been a big part of this team tonight. And Rasheed Wallace leading the way. We have had 7 lead changes this quarter. John, what are you going to say now?
That's a new one. That's the first time I've ever heard Rasheed Wallace's name associated with spiritual leadership.
That's how much he has improved as a person.
I love him as a player. I just never heard that association.
I know you use that with your players many times at Georgetown.
That's a wall.
Traveling called against Jefferson. You're right. 21st turnover by the Nets, and Lawrence Frank will be talking about that when this game is over, whether the Nets win or lose.
Yes, he will. That's something you can't have 20 turnovers.
And the foul going in, and the Pistons looking to increase their lead, and the foul is called against Kerry Kittles, and going to the line will be Phillips for 2. Chauncey Phillips coming alive, had a very slow start, Rex, in this game, but has turned it on. He has 11 of his 15 points since the 1st quarter.
He's played a very solid game. And right now, New Jersey has to find something on offense. They're not getting any stops. They're not getting any turnovers. They've got to find something, some way to get a basket in the half court.
And you know, Rex, because Jason Kidd, who had the big game, has 9. Richard Jefferson has 9. Martin has 20, but 2 of the big 3 for them have not produced big numbers thus far.
Well, and one of the reasons is that graph you showed with the guys scoring. If you want to stop them from running, you got to make baskets.
Matching their biggest lead of the game for Detroit. Kittles cuts it to one all of a sudden. Whenever the Nets have needed the big basket tonight, Kittles has been there. 17 points, 3 threes.
And that's big. And, they're trying to get Rasheed Wallace in the two-man game, in the pick and roll. Jason spun baseline, and what a find.
Kidd defending Hamilton, 8 on the clock. Long three by Phillips. And the foul called against New Jersey. Loose ball foul, and that'll be Rogers' fifth. So Rogers and Collins each with 5.
I don't like that call. Rodney Rogers is 275 pounds. He's standing there holding his ground. Yes, Ben Wallace is a big, strong guy, but Rodney did not move at all.
I'm not certain that's one of those tricks when a guy goes under your arm and jumps, and then it looks like you're pulling him down.
So Ben Wallace going to the line is only 3 of 7 in the game. Has barely been a 50% free throw shooter for Detroit.
And here you see Rodney Rogers turns, gets the box out in. He's just standing. I don't like it, coach. I don't like it.
Ben Wallace is a pretty shrewd guy.
Yes, he is.
That's comparable to flopping in the guard position.
That's a flop right there.
There are many ways to skin a cat. Wallace misses both free throws.
Let's see if Jason Kidd in New Jersey tries to get Rasheed Wallace in another side pick and roll.
Nets looking to regain the lead with under 5.5 minutes to go in the fourth.
This is Jason Kidd's time of the game, though. This guy will control this ball most of the time.
Here is Jefferson working his way in the lane, trying to draw the foul, and does. Both teams in the penalty, and Jefferson will go to the line. Hit in the act of shooting. Ben Wallace, number 4.
Now, this is one heck of an aggressive move right here. I'd love to see him do this again and show us what he did. I mean, he drops that, reversed in, turned his back, curled in the air, double motion, and threw the ball up at the basket.
That's a great play, and it's a shame that Detroit doesn't get a stop out of that, because that's about 22 seconds of very good defense.
And I tell you what, it's the kind of play that if you don't get the foul, the coach asks you, what the heck are you doing, son? And he doesn't say heck either.
Yeah.
What does he say, John? That's where you came answer me now, right?
That's exactly right.
You'll have to answer that, Coach. I wouldn't know what you're talking about there.
Big day for Richard Jefferson as he was named to the Team USA to play in the Olympics this August. And Jefferson misses the second free throw, and pushing it up is Phillips. And Kittles puts him to an end there, and a timeout called by Larry Brown.
One being Jason Kidd, who thrives on this time of the game, and the other being Larry Brown. Because Larry Brown, as much as he said he liked practices more, he loves this time of the game.
Coach, I'd be very, very surprised, as I was going to say, very surprised if most of the offense, unless it's in transition for the Detroit Pistons, doesn't go through Richard Hamilton. He's been in such a groove, such a good rhythm that they need to go to him.
And obviously, Larry Brown loves coaching. John, he wouldn't be in it. You know, I mean, I know that, but he worries. He does worry a lot.
Well, and he said he loved that aspect of it, of practice. And every coach likes that because that's a teaching situation. But he also loves right now when the score is tied and there's 4 minutes and 45 seconds to go.
This is his time of game. Not to see Jason Collins throw up the air ball. You know, it's interesting that the fast break points favored the Nets by 46 in the series coming in. And tonight, the Pistons have the edge by 1. Nets have only 2 on the break, thanks to the fact that the Pistons are protecting the ball and the Nets are not.
Absolutely, and that's what has happened. If you want a team to run against you, throw up bad shots or be careless with the ball when you pass it. Detroit has taken care of the ball, and that's countered their break.
Hamilton trying to get the foul. Wallace, Rasheed Wallace, the basket counts in the foul. And the Detroit Pistons hanging in there on the grit of Rasheed Wallace playing with the injured left foot.
And I love the fact that Larry Brown's going to Richard Hamilton. He's been in a great groove. But how about Rasheed Wallace? He's playing on all heart right now, Coach, because that foot has got to be killing him.
Well, absolutely. And he's not getting involved excessively in a lot of emotions out here other than just playing.
Kenyon Martin picking up his 4th foul, and Rasheed Wallace with the three-point play has 11 points in 34 minutes with that bad foot. And a three-point Detroit lead as the Pistons fans hoping this is not the last home game of the year. And a foul called on Billups against Kidd, and both teams, of course, have been in the penalties.
And this is a heady play by Richard Jefferson. This is a flop, no question about it. Watch this.
Oh, wow.
That's a flop. And you know what? It was so blatant that he did it right in front of the official. It catches the official off guard, and 2 shots for Richard Jefferson.
How can a little guy like that knock Richardson down so easily?
Well, you know, Chauncey's built a little bit. He's pretty built, but that was a flop.
Yeah, right. Well, the Nets now starting to miss some free throws. They were impeccable from the line before.
And Chauncey Billups is saying that's justice right there. That missed free throws.
Jefferson's numbers tonight, remember he had 30 in game 3. 1 out of 2. The lead is 2 for Detroit.
I still think they got to go to Richard Hamilton, get him involved. He's creating a lot of offense for them.
Tayshaun Prince with a big first half has not done much in the scoring department since that first half. Billups getting in out of Rasheed Wallace, knocked away, but 7 on the clock. Here's Hamilton with the jumper. And the rebound taken down by Terry Kittle. Martin foul. And that's the kind of foul, and it was Rasheed Wallace, bad foot and all, that challenged Kenyon Martin driving.
And the beautiful thing about that Nets fast break is that Jefferson was out there. When he did not have it, he gave it immediately back to Kidd. This is Martin attacking the basket and probing for a foul. He's just not ducking. You've got to be willing to take the hit, the contact, if you want the foul. A lot of times guys fade, they come up with nothing.
Just like in football, coach, you got to hit the guy. If you don't want to feel it, you got to hit him as hard as he's going to hit you.
Kenyon Martin 7 of 8 from the line and can tie the game with 3:49 remaining in regulation. Dick Stockton along with Rex Chapman, John Thompson, D. Lynam with you at the Palace of Auburn Hills, Game 5 with the series all even. And the Timberwolves and the Kings to follow. Martin makes them both. We've had 14 ties in this game, 17 lead changes, nothing like the previous 4.
No, we need to keep an eye on Tayshaun Prince as well. He's been very quiet this half.
Yes, he has. And Hamilton tried to get it. Hamilton gets it back. And the whistle pushing foul called against New Jersey. 2-shot situation, of course. Martin with 5. Kenyon Martin with 22 points. Leading scorer for the Nets is 1 away from fouling out.
That'll be a big loss. He's got to be very careful because they're going to need him these last few minutes.
And Rasheed Wallace, only his 2nd free throw attempt, and came into the game 6 for 6 for the series. The good news is he hasn't missed any free throws. The bad news, he doesn't get to try many.
Rasheed's not a high-volume free throw guy, but still very much more effective as he's been tonight when he'll go down and put his back to the basket.
Got to give Rip Hamilton a lot of credit, too, as you've been saying, because he's probing, getting into the lane, causing people to come to him and dishing off. And for that frail body, that takes a lot of courage, too, to take that beating in there.
11 assists for Richard Hamilton tonight, taking over the playmaking role for Detroit. Wallace with 13 points, and all 5 starters for the Pistons are a double figure. Detroit by 2.
And look where they're making them initiate their offense, Coach. 30 feet from the basket.
And here's Martin playing with 5 fouls against Ben Wallace. Wallace with the block jump ball.
That's smothered chicken right there. Smothered chicken. Woo! I think Ben Wallace thought he was going to get called for a foul here for a second. But just great defense. Got Kenyon Martin all the way behind the goal.
Great 13 on the clock, John.
I don't think Ben Wallace was the only one. This crowd, the way they reacted, they thought he was called for a foul too, but it was a very good call.
It's the heavyweight jump ball here.
Third block of the game for Ben Wallace.
Two very quick jumping guys.
Tip controlled by Phillips. Phillips, foul. And hit in the face was Chauncey Phillips. And Mike Aguinaldo, the trainer, will go over to tend to the point guard who is bending over with a hand in the face.
And no excuse. No excuse for this jump ball getting out like that. That's a good foul by Jason Collins.
And he's fouled out, though. Jason Collins has fouled out of the game, scoring 4 points.
No disrespect to Jason Collins, because I think that he's done a great job in working out there, particularly with this level of players that he's playing with. He's inconspicuous and does his job. But if I had to lose a player, those four on the floor, I'll give him Collins.
Hey, look, they've got, besides Collins, they have Rogers, and they got Williams and Scalabrini, so they got some other people at that spot.
Chauncey's a little shaken up.
20-second timeout.
20-second timeout, and Chauncey Phillips trying to shake it off, and he was bent over for quite a while.
And then we got to get a shot at this foul again. Looked like maybe Chauncey got poked in the eye a little bit. I'm not real sure.
The Nets giving up a fast break off of the jump ball, which you rarely see.
But that's why jump balls are so dangerous. Sometimes you're better off in violating the rule and letting the official call it. Then you can at least set your defense up. But if you don't line up properly and have a guy in a defensive position on the jump, then it's inexcusable.
Yeah, exactly right, Coach. Inexcusable for 3 minutes to go in the game and you don't have somebody back. There's no way that the Nets thought they were going to get that jump ball. You know, they had a good chance of it, but you got Ben Wallace jumping.
Coming up next, the Kings at the Timberwolves. Each team has won a game on the other's home court. So this hasn't been home win or nothing. And we saw the pattern change a bit last night when the Lakers defeated the Spurs in San Antonio on that incredible finish. And that may go down as one of the great finishes in sports annals. Not just NBA this year, but sports annals, the way that ended up with Duncan's shot and then Derek Fisher. Phillips hitting the first. Pistons 12 of 18 from the line in this fourth quarter alone. And Phillips, an outstanding free throw shooter, can't make two, but it's an 83-80 Detroit lead with 3 minutes remaining in regulation.
Got to pull the trigger on that one.
Phillips with a steal. 2-on-1. Phillips.
Oh.
And Tayshaun Prince loses the fight to Aaron Williams. Big opportunity for Detroit there.
I thought Chauncey should have thrown that ball up toward the rim and let the big fella flush it home.
He was ahead of him.
You were absolutely correct. I thought he was going to do it.
And Jefferson being shadowed by Tayshaun Prince. There is Williams at the free throw line. Martin tips it in.
Oh.
No basket. Offensive foul. New Jersey.
Kenyon Martin fouled out.
Yes, he did.
That's big.
That is huge.
And here we see where Kenyon Martin picks up his 6th foul. You know, this is the shot you want the Nets taking if you're New Jersey. If you're the Pistons, and Kenyon Martin must have got a little hand in the back. Little inadvertent hand in the back, but big play. Kenyon Martin out with 2:29 to go.
Wallace barely hit the rim on that one. Kenyon Martin fouls out with 22 points and 9 rebounds. And we were talking about how they have not gotten scoring that much from Jefferson, who has 11, Kidd with 9, but their leading scorer and the main man of the big three now on the bench.
He's on the bench, and Richard Jefferson has got to step up. He's looked very reluctant the last 2 times he's touched the basketball. He's got to be a guy that's going to get them some offense.
And the trap on Kidd and Williams. And great play made by Rip Hamilton. Almost knocked the ball away, but a foul called against the New Jersey Nets.
The thing that's so frightening with the Nets is that when Jason Kidd doesn't have the ball in his hands and controlling it, they're not really great passers. But when he's controlling and dominating the ball is safe.
And a foul is on Hamilton, not against the Nets. So 5 on Rip Hamilton, and Aaron Williams making the free throw. All 5 Pistons starters are in double figures, led by Phillips with 18, Prince 15. 1 out of 2. 84-81. Getting down to 2 minutes to go.
And I think you got to milk Rip Hamilton here. You got to get him the ball, get it in his hands.
And he's playing with 5, as we know. Hamilton driving to the basket. No shot there. 8 on the shot clock. Phillips, tough play, off the rim. And the Nets down by 3 with the ball and under 2 minutes on the clock.
Jason Kidd and Jefferson time.
Somebody has to step up and make a shot and take a shot for the New Jersey Nets.
And Kidd is blanketed by Hamilton.
Great defense.
And picked up on the switch by Tayshaun Prince. Here's Jefferson, 5 on the clock. Posting up against Hamilton, and they'll call the block on Hamilton, and that will be 6.
That's costly.
Rip Hamilton has fouled out of the game as Jefferson posted up.
I got to hand it to Rip Hamilton here, guys. He's battling in there and doing all he can. He's undersized, playing in the post in there. Not really Richard Jefferson's game, but nonetheless, this is a big loss.
Well, his defensive effort was tremendous because Jason Kidd tried to penetrate on him. He couldn't do it, and then he switched and picked up Jefferson. Rip Hamilton doesn't have a reputation for being the defensive guard, but obviously he's far better than we're giving him credit for.
And a career-high 11 assists tonight for Richard Hamilton, who came over from the Washington Wizards. He had 11 points as well, and he is replaced by Mike James. Jefferson, 3 of 5 from the stripe tonight.
I've got to hand it to Rip Hamilton also. The guy, I've seen him go for 30 in this league, 40 in this league, and I don't know that I've seen him play a better all-around game than he played here tonight.
I agree with you, and
he's not doing it in a shy way or a timid way, particularly for as frail as his body is and these physical guys that are out here now.
Jefferson's free throws bring the Nets to within 1. No fouls to give, and each team has 2 timeouts and a 20.
This is a huge mental possession right here for the Detroit Pistons.
And they've got Chauncey Billups off the ball, essentially playing 2-guard here.
Well, it's all down to the defense. Which team plays the better D? Billups working his way in, and Wallace trying to keep it alive. Chased in the corner, and Kidd comes out of the pack.
Look out.
Jason Kidd all the way. What a play by Kidd. Changing hands at the last minute. Jason Kidd gives the Nets the lead with 1:08 to go.
Jason sounds like a prophet. He said he just wanted to be in a game tonight where they had a puncher's chance at the end of the ball game.
Timeout.
His foot being on the line. We got a 1-point game.
Very good memory for you, Rex. You remember those pivotal plays that happened early.
Lawrence Frank almost crossed the half-court line, giving instructions at that.
Larry Brown doesn't like that.
Phillips defended by Kittles. And Rodney Rogers coming out as well. Under a minute remaining. 11 on the shot clock. Tayshaun Prince hasn't done much since the first quarter. And once again, Jefferson does a great job on him.
That's great defense.
And the Nets leading by 1.
I can almost guarantee you right here, the New Jersey Nets are going to get a good shot at the basket with Jason Kidd leading the way.
Against Phillips, Kidd with the ball away. And the ball snared away by Ben Wallace. Pistons can take the lead. Nearly a half a minute remaining. And here's the shot from the corner. Air ball. Thrown up by James, but last touch by the Nets. And Detroit gets another chance.
Well, that's a shame right there. Mike James, I don't know what happened with the shot, but those air balls are tough to rebound. Rodney Rogers just couldn't get a handle on.
And why Mike James?
Chauncey Billups to get a live ball somehow.
Detroit just has a 20-second timeout remaining. Billups off balance. Wallace tried to keep it alive. And Detroit did not get off their last 3 shots as solid shots at all.
Well, you kind of knew that Chauncey Billups was going to be the guy out there that was going to try to get something. I don't know that I like that. The shot that he got, Coach. It was a little rush.
Well, and I would have loved for Rasheed Wallace for the same reason I said with Prince. His length gets him a clear shot as opposed to a fading in an aggressiveness.
Pistons have missed their last 10 shots. And Kidd is on the line with 16.8, a 1-point game. Remember, there's only a 20-second timeout left for the Nets. And if Kidd makes them both, the Pistons will be down by 3. And they're down by 2. Kidd is 6 for 6 from the line. Can New Jersey break the home court stranglehold that we've had in the series thus far?
You know, a lot of guys that play the guard position can make plays, but there are very few guards that are playmakers. And this guy is a legitimate playmaker here.
3-point game. And here's Prince going up with the blocking foul. So instead of trying the 3, and that was a smart move, they hope that Prince can make the free throws and then, barring a steal attempt, foul again, hoping there's a miss and get one last chance to pull it out.
And that's why I say Larry Brown is at his best. I mean, he got the guy he wanted, the shot he wanted, and the guy's going to the line to shoot 2 free throws.
4 for 4 tonight for Tayshaun Prince, but he misses.
You know, oh, that's painful. That hurt me, Dick.
Yes, it did.
And every fan who roots for the Pistons here had the same reaction you did.
It wasn't even close.
1 out of 2, and it's a 2-point game. They're going to have to foul. Leading by 2, 87-85. Harris inbounds to Kidd, and he's fouled. No choice for the Pistons than to foul Jason Kidd, who is 7 for 7 from the line.
But you know, that's what Rex was talking about. Do you realize how difficult it was to receive that ball with 2 defenders over you like that and to protect it?
That's a great point, Coach. And you know what happened here was they knew Jason was going to get the ball. They even had the inbounder, the guy that was guarding the inbounder, Tayshaun Prince, lead and go try to deny Jason. All he did was throw him out of the way. And once Jason gets his hands on those balls, he's got some of the strongest hands you've ever seen.
Pistons led 84-80 with 2:29 left. And since then, the Nets have outscored Detroit 7-1 pending these free throws, and Kidd misses the first. Still hope.
Still hope. It's a big miss.
But no timeouts remaining for Detroit. So it is a big miss indeed, because they still have a chance, if Kidd makes it, for a 3 to tie the game. He misses both.
He missed both of them. They got to go. Get something going to the basket.
87-85. And Billups, what a block! Blocked by Richard Jefferson with 2.9. And now Sean Corbin raises his hand. There's a foul.
There's a foul
and a foul on Detroit, and the Nets look like they're going to hold on. Richard Jefferson with a great block.
That is unbelievable. This game is tied up, possibly going to overtime, and get that shot out of here.
The play of the game with Billups looking to tie the game, and Richard Jefferson coming out of nowhere to swat it away.
He had to duck his head to keep hitting on the backboard.
Well, and the thing that he did that was so significant that the great Bill Russell could do is that he went up in the air and avoided putting his body on him and reached over and blocked the shot. But how about this?
Make a free throw, guys.
Now the problem is no timeouts left for Detroit, so 2.9. If you think they had to get it up in a hurry last time, what about now?
Well, I mean, this is an eternity compared to what the Lakers did last night.
All right.
2.9, come on.
Anything is possible. And the lead is 88-85.
Got to get a 3 up.
Pistons need a 3, and they have just under 3 seconds to do it. Here's Chauncey Billups. Here it is. He's got it. He's got it. Chauncey Billups hits the 3. Overtime. Amazing. Chauncey Billups. 52, Hamilton at 11, Billups with 21. We're underway in overtime. 5-minute overtime session for both teams. Their first overtime in the playoffs.
And the psychological edge has to go to the Pistons right now, just based on how they came back.
And Prince fouled by Aaron Williams on the cut to the basket.
You know, I just can't say enough about Larry Brown. I love the guy. I've known him for years. He recruited me in college. But
why didn't you go there?
I didn't like him that much. But, I mean, he comes out time after time after time and gets easy baskets after timeouts, easy baskets at the end of quarters. And it's just unbelievable to me that he's that good.
And, you know, Aaron Williams just fouled out of the game, so Collins and Aaron Williams have both fouled out. Brian Scalabrine set to come into the game, so the Nets are depleted at the center position at this point.
Well, Scalabrine will do a good job, but what you're losing now is a lot of your interior defense that you would have had, because really the Nets want to be aggressive outside, but you only can be aggressive if you got the support in the back.
Tayshaun Prince, 6 of 7 and 17 points, coming alive after struggling for 3 games. And look at the forlorn appearance on the net bench, because that took so much wind out of their sails. And you're so right, John. Detroit's got to feel really pumped up right now as they take a 90-88 lead.
Well, the thing that the Nets have to do real quick is to get over it. That's like a dagger hitting you when a guy makes a shot like this. And you're going to see kids become far more aggressive.
And on the floor and really hit hard and shaken up is Tayshaun Prince.
Well, how about that? Guy gets hit right in the face, and he must have fouled Richard Jefferson with his face, because the foul was called on Tayshaun Prince. You end up on the floor and get the foul.
He's just finding out now the foul's on me.
I think he was taking a rest break.
Lindsey Hunter in the backcourt with Chauncey Billups, the hero thus far. And will it stand up and the Pistons survive in overtime? Time will tell. Here's Kidd. Scalabrine. And a big basket. How about Scalabrine with 10 points tonight?
And that's what I like about this kid. This kid is confident offensively, and he's extremely agile for a guy his size.
Tied at 90.
And I just got to say, Danny Ainge's out there watching. He's an ISTP brain type.
And here is Scalabrine fouling Ben Wallace, who makes the basket. And a chance to open up a 3-point lead in the first minute of overtime.
And like you said, Coach, they give up so much defensive interior presence with Collins out and with Aaron Williams out. They give up a lot of length.
Well, see, and they're smart enough, the Pistons are smart enough to exploit the fact that he's not going to be able to guard him on the inside the way a Williams could or the way a Martin could. So they're going after this kid.
Now, Ben Wallace has had a terrific game, but he has struggled at the line. Only 4 of 11 to go along with 16 points and 11 rebounds. Now 4 of 12. We'll talk about missed free throws, and Nets will be shaking their heads over that one. Here is Jefferson going in. Good feed from Rogers. And again, a tie at 92 with under 4 to play in OT.
There's a great example of Jason Kidd being the pass that leads to the pass to the basket.
You gotta like the fact that the Nets don't become conservative. Most teams become very conservative in overtime.
Here's Hunter. Tayshaun Prince for 3. In and out, and the crowd grows, but there's Rasheed with the offensive rebound, and a new clock for Detroit.
Scalabrine's got his hands full with Rasheed Wallace or Ben Wallace down there.
Defensive side is where that could be pivotal, and they want to get the ball to Rasheed as they do.
Scalabrine's just too little. This is a turnaround jump shot easy.
And Rasheed Wallace, Rogers the rebound. I tell you, Scalabrine did a good job.
He did a very good job, and I almost would have liked to have seen Rasheed fade away there.
And Scalabrine defended by Rasheed Wallace as we approach 3 minutes to go in overtime. Richard Jefferson with a 3, and that gives the Nets a 3-point lead.
How about these New Jersey Nets rallying around one another? And when you're on the road like this, it's you against the world.
Hey, this is an unflappable team. They've proven that during the year and during the playoffs, especially after the first 2 losses here.
Well, and the fact that these guys have won before, too, they're accustomed to winning.
Tayshaun Prince missing, and a 3-point lead into the hands of Jason Kidd.
Glad to get a layup, they didn't get back.
2.5 to play in overtime, and all of a sudden the crowd sensing that the Pistons have to make a stop defensively now.
I like this move, going to Jason in the post.
Jefferson, foul. And a chance to give the Nets to open up a 5-point lead, but this was the tiebreaker at this point.
Scalabrine to Jason, and who's guarding Richard Hamilton? Tayshaun Prince has got to close out a little bit better on Tayshaun, get a hand in his face.
Ben Wallace is fouled out of the game. So the plot thickens now as Wallace fouls out with 16 points, 11 rebounds, and replaced by Corliss Williamson. So the Pistons go a bit small right now, but they know that some of the big people on the Nets have fouled out. There they see Rasheed Wallace with 5 fouls and Rodney Rogers with 5.
See if the Nets can make some free throws.
Well, they're doing it in overtime, and Richard Jefferson looking for point number 20 to open up a 5-point lead.
Losing Wallace is huge.
Right.
Yes, it is. That might have been the most significant loss of everybody that fouled out so far.
1 out of 2, 76 attempts from the free throw line, now 77 in the game. Corliss Williamson, Lindsey Hunter, and Chauncey Billups with the ball.
And right at the young player,
Williamson. Exactly right. And foul before the shot.
And right now, they're picking on the second-year player out of USC. They're going right at whoever Brian Scalabrine is guarding every time.
And they'll take it out of bounds. And Prince again inbounding. Scalabrine guarding Corliss Williamson. And Billups gets it into him with 8 on the shot clock. Working in is Williamson. Off the glass, Corliss Williamson makes it a 2-point net lead.
Right at Scalabrine and wiped the ball off. I don't know where that one came from.
The Big Nasty coming in and contributing here in overtime for Detroit. Under 2 minutes.
Both teams are going to their strengths now, or to their opponent's weakness, because you see Jefferson right now and Kidd are playing a 2-man game.
3-point attempt missed. And here's Billups. Chance to tie or go ahead, and Billups overran the ball in a 3-on-2 break. Jefferson leaves it for Kittles, and an offensive foul called, a charging foul. And Jefferson and Nets are arguing that call.
I think he was inside the circle. He was in the circle. He was.
You're right.
Greg Willard, Dick Bavetta confirmed with Greg Willard, and clearly,
reversed it. Yep.
Clearly, Corliss Williamson was in the circle.
You know, and a lot of people won't like that, but I like it
It's
when
the
they
rule.
get it right.
I like it when
Yeah,
it's
when
right.
two officials confer with one another to make certain that the call is correct.
No
more
question.
than anything.
No question about it.
And Larry doesn't like it. And look at Larry.
Greg Willard, nose to nose.
Well, Larry and Lawrence Frank are getting into it a little bit. They have had a few words for one another.
Kittles misses it, or makes the free throw.
And here's the call. Richard Jefferson throws it back to Kittles. And as you see, by rule, Corliss Williamson is in the little smiley face there under, and that's got to be a block or a no call.
Officials got it right, as John said. And Kerry Kittles makes both free throws. He has 20 points. The lead is 4, under a minute and a half remaining. There's the timeout story. Rasheed Wallace with a 3. And how about Rasheed Wallace, who has played 42 minutes?
How about this guy?
And that's the thing that he can do because of the fact of his length and his shooting touch. He can get that shot almost anytime he wants to.
That's by 1.
Time of the game. I mean, this is when a guy gets the right to be called a good point guard, when you can control this kind of basketball game.
Rodney Rogers, 10 on the shot clock, going strong to the basket. And Williamson the rebound, under a minute to go. And the Pistons can take the lead. Billups losing his footing, going in, and the blocking foul is called. Billups had lost his footing and fell into a defender, and they'll call it against Jefferson. 5 on Richard Jefferson.
A great aggressive drive, very aggressive drive there. That's the charge. I don't know. He's outside the block. He's set. He saw him driving from 20 feet out.
And Billups 5 of 7 from the line can give Detroit the lead. 5 on Jefferson. Kenyon Martin, Jason Collins have fouled out already in the game. And for the Pistons, Ben Wallace and Rip Hamilton have fouled out. And the Pistons up by 1. Hunter all over Kidd and Jefferson in the corner. 5 on the shot clock. Prince against Jefferson. Falls down and the foul called against Tayshaun Prince. And he's beside himself.
Well, that's a veteran move by Richard Jefferson right there. Very heady play for the third-year player. I mean, the shot clock's running down. Richard Jefferson is not really a post-up player. He's got a much frailer, more frail defender on him. And Richard flopped and got away with it.
Neither team had a foul to give, so Jefferson will go to the line, and he can give the Nets the lead if he makes 2. He's 6 of 9 tonight.
If he makes 2, they struggled at the line.
Best they can do is tie now.
And this is when you start to talk about home court advantage, because the crowd definitely becomes a factor in this right now.
And a lot of the stars are on the bench as cheerleaders right now. And we are tied at 99 with 33.9 seconds remaining in the first overtime session.
There's a million times.
Prince inbounding to Billups. Every play huge, of course. Here is Rasheed Wallace short. Kittles the rebound, and the differential of about 2.5 seconds.
They can virtually milk it, Dick, and I believe that's what they'll do. Jason Kidd will be sure they get the last shot of this overtime. Oh, Lindsey Hunter. Jason's got to be quick out there.
Kidd with 4 on the shot clock, and the taller Prince is on him. They're not going to get it off.
That's an awful mistake by Jason.
He got trapped with Tayshaun Prince, the bigger man, and he had nowhere to go with him and had to throw him cross court.
He's got to go.
3 will inbound. Here's Billups. Billups again. Short. And we go to a second overtime. Here 30%, Detroit 39%. Right where we are. Tip again controlled by the Pistons. Second 5-minute overtime session. Dick Stockton, Rex Chapman, John Thompson, D. Lyman. And Tayshaun Prince couldn't control it, loses it out of bounds.
This is a crazy game, and both of these teams have had their chances to knock the other one out, and neither one seems to be able to do it.
Tayshaun Prince went to every referee and said he had 5 fouls. Does he have 5 fouls?
Yes.
Yeah, and he went to, that's a very smart thing to do, just to make him conscious of it.
Jason Kidd for 3, and Rasheed Wallace, who has played 44 minutes tonight with the injured foot that is painful.
And I was really surprised at the end of the first overtime that they didn't go right there, right into Rasheed Wallace.
It's Scalabrine defending him and committing the foul.
And here we go at the end of overtime. Scalabrine and Rasheed getting into it a little bit, and Scalabrine taking exception. But as you see here, Brian Scalabrine is going to have a tough time keeping Rasheed Wallace from getting the ball.
And Rasheed's got to be careful, because that's not a fair exchange if both of them get thrown out. The Pistons really need him right now. He can't afford to get involved in foolishness.
Three-point attempt by Billups, and the rebound by Rogers. Nets have Kenyon Martin, Jason Collins, and Aaron Williams have fouled out. Pistons with Ben Wallace and Richard Hamilton gone, and Tayshaun Prince and Rasheed Wallace each with 5. Minute gone by, second overtime period.
I don't like Richard Jefferson in the post right here.
Finds Kidd, touch pass, Scalabrine.
Get a shot off again.
No, they don't. You're right. Twice in the last 2.5 minutes.
It's bad basketball right here. Very bad basketball. You've got to get a shot off. There's just no excuse.
24th turnover by the New Jersey Nets.
And it's the probing that they're doing. They're probing, trying to get something specific. You want to get the shot off, but the lesser of two evils is throwing it away now. At least you got to set your defense up right now. And that's the fact that tied this too.
And you know, it's the 5th time that the turnover was a result of a 24-second violation. That's a big number. Lindsey Hunter in the lane, fall away over Kidd, Scalabrine getting the rebound.
And we've seen a lot of missed jump shots here in overtime at the end of regulation and thus far in this overtime. And that's the team. These guys have played their hearts and souls out. You got to imagine that these legs are a little bit tired.
Scalabrine for three and a big one. Brian Scalabrine with his third beyond the arc has 13 points, putting Detroit in a hole early in the OT.
His legs aren't tired. That guy's ready to play.
5 of 6 from the field for Brian Scalabrine, and they're going to call Brian with the blocking foul on Chauncey Billups.
Silly foul.
It's a silly foul, and it indicates the fact that he does not have great foot speed to get over that. He should know that more than anybody, and not just to create something like that.
Teams will shoot the penalty on the 4th team foul, and that is 2 on the Nets here in the second overtime.
And don't you think for 1 minute the Pistons aren't trying to get to that bonus situation as quick as they can? That's the third thing.
Right. Billups on the drive, and Kerry Kittles with his 4th foul.
Very heady play by Chauncey Billups going in there and throwing his body in. He was not trying to get this shot off. He was just trying to get to the foul line.
And he did, and he will. And right now, Billups 6 of 8 from the free throw line. And there's Brian Scalabrine, and had a big game 3 with 6 points and a lot of energy as Billups hits the first free throw. Welcome to the NBA. You know, Lawrence Frank, 33 years old, was named head coach, won 13 straight games taking over for Byron Scott, and here he is in a classic game 5. Billups cuts the New Jersey lead to 1.
And it's got to give him a lot of credit, because Lawrence Frank definitely has done a great job in managing this team.
Very steady.
Extremely so.
How bad is it hurting Kenyon Martin and Ben Wallace and Rip Hamilton?
Kidd hitting a 3. Very calmly, Jason Kidd hitting his first three-pointer in 5 tries.
And looked at Rex, the shooting coach, and said, woo!
He looked over here like, I made one.
And driving is Billups with the lay-in, getting 2. Tell you, Chauncey Billups showing a lot of energy here in second overtime.
These guys are playing on all guts right now.
27 for Billups. Nets lead, 105-103.
Think about how much Jason's been dribbling. How tired can he be right now?
Jefferson wide open, hitting another 3. So Scalabrine, Kidd, and Jefferson hitting big three-pointers. And the Nets are up by 5 as we get close to 2 minutes remaining in the overtime.
Larry
Thorne. And got to imagine what's going on inside there. The St. Dumar's upstairs. And there is Rasheed Wallace slamming it through. And it's 108-105. New Jersey with the lead because of the 3.
And that Rasheed is playing on all adrenaline right now. He crossed half court and just almost doubled over in pain from the way he had to spring off that foot.
18 points in 46 minutes, 10 rebounds for Rasheed Wallace.
Hunter's really trying to deny Kidd the ball, but Kidd is such a great receiver that he's not able to do it.
Against Lindsey Hunter, 3 on the shot clock. And here's Rogers.
Didn't get a shot off.
No, he didn't. That's 5 24-second violations by the Nets.
That is incredible. And they got what they wanted. Jason Kidd in the post. But you know what? Jason has got to shoot the ball. 4-second shot clock. Bad mistake.
And that one tipped up and in. And that was Corliss Williamson who gets the basket. And it's a 1-point net lead. Under a minute and a half to go. 4 Nets have fouled out. Jason Kidd finding an open Lucius Harris. And he hits. Harris with a big basket. And it is now 110-107 New Jersey.
The Nets have to definitely keep the Pistons off of the board.
Williamson comes right back.
Are they taking advantage of the lack of shot blockers inside? Detroit is really going to the basket.
And violation. 5-second violation against the Nets, and New Jersey gets it back with a chance to take the lead. 110.
Turnovers. The New Jersey Nets are just careless right now.
So a lot of that gives you significance of the inbounder too, because that guy is just so crucial.
And the blocking foul against Scalabrine, 5 on him, and now they're going to shoot. The penalty in effect now for the Nets, and Detroit will go to the line to shoot 2.
Brian Scalabrine is not going to get that call at this stage of the game, at this stage of his career. That should have been a block or a no call.
Yeah, but you know what? I think he's right that time. I thought he was there. I thought he was in front of it. But I agree with you 100%. particularly at this time of the game. They're not going to give him that call, and based on who he is.
That's right.
So the Nets are over the limit, and the Pistons, trailing by 1, can take the lead with 1:07 to go. What a war of attrition this game is. Mike James will come into the game.
Very little internal defenses on the Nets team. That's why you see in the penetration. That's why you see them attacking the goal. Nobody's there that can block the middle up now.
And only Rasheed Wallace for the Pistons, although Corliss Williamson has been a presence now inside.
Corliss Williamson gives you some beef in there, but no, like Coach said, no interior presence for the Nets whatsoever.
And Billups, 9 of 11, playing his 50th minute of the game, ties it up.
And what a helpless feeling for Kenyon Martin, Ben Wallace, and Rip Hamilton sitting over there, sitting out the majority of both overtimes.
And Lawrence Frank signals that he wants the Nets to call a timeout after the free throw. Billups looking to give the Pistons the lead. He does. He gave them the tie. Pistons have 2. Kidd will inbound. Detroit leading by 1 in the second overtime. The winner takes a 3-2 lead in the best of 7.
Said it before, not Richard Jefferson's game posting up.
And Tayshaun Prince preventing him from getting anything off. 10 on the shot clock.
Charge.
And they're going to call the blocking foul.
I mean, how many block charges have we had in this game, Coach?
Well, and officials have been consistent with it, because I thought the call down this end, I questioned a little bit. You might question that one, but what you want is consistency from them and whatever they call. These guys are tired.
Oh, I question that one.
And that was a foul to give. That was the one foul that the Pistons had to give. So the Nets inbound under a minute remaining. 111-110 Pistons. Jefferson, right at the three-point line, will take a three-point shot.
No.
And it will go out of bounds, try to save it. And then Scalabrine makes a great save. What a play by Scalabrine. And the Nets have a new clock.
Got to get something going to the basket.
And driving in is Jefferson, and he's fouled. And this time, we'll go to the line to shoot 2, and a chance to give the Nets the lead once again. We have had 23 lead changes and 20 ties, and this was a big play.
Well, and this is a great play as far as Scalabrine is concerned, being able to run it down and to get a foot on that. I mean, to get that thing inside, and then you see the hustle of Jason Kidd.
And Rasheed Wallace is fouled out of the game. And what a courageous, gutty performance for Rasheed Wallace, who played 48 minutes on a plantar fasciitis left foot. He scored 18 points and had 10 rebounds. Jefferson misses the first. And the best New Jersey can do is now tie.
Free throws and turnovers have killed the Nets.
7 of 12 from the line is Jefferson.
And this is huge with Wallace going out, particularly if he makes this and this game goes into overtime.
And we're tied at 111, and timeout called by Detroit. They have
away had they made their crucial free throws.
I really look for them to try to maybe break Billups down here or get the ball to the big nasty Corliss Williamson on Scalabrine. They're trying to clear a side for him.
Well, there are no shot blockers back there. The only one close to it is Jefferson.
Billups against Kidd. Billups going up. Tipped away, and Kidd's got it. 5.2, and the last timeout called by New Jersey.
The call that decides the game. They probably will try to penetrate.
Lucius Harris inbounds to Scalabrine. Back to Kittles. Missing the shot. And Scalabrine can't convert, and we go to another overtime. Rogers and Aaron Williams foul out for the Nets. Both Rasheed and Ben Wallace and Rip Hamilton foul out for the Pistons. The game has gone 58 minutes.
Very intriguing to find out if the foul is called on Darvin Ham.
Darvin Ham coming into the game, and Ham had played just 4 minutes and just briefly, and coming in and committing the foul. On the 4th foul is the penalty in the overtime session. This is the 3rd overtime. We were tied at 88, 99, and then 111.
And Ham's got new energy. He's very athletic, but he's got to get the flow of this game. Even though he's fresh, it's very difficult to get into this.
Jefferson off the front rim, and maybe a lot of front rim with the
I was going to say, very, very interesting how this game's going to play out as Williamson's going right at Scalabrini.
Can't convert, but there's Ham laying. Oh, missed an open layup. Coming out with the ball.
Coach, you called it. He's got to get in the flow. That man's been sitting over there 58
Exactly. He's got a lot of nervous energy. He's hustling. He got to it, which is what you want him to do.
So Billups, how about Billups playing 51 minutes? Tayshaun Prince 51 minutes. Lindsey Hunter way off for three, but it falls into the hands of Williamson. Hunter tried to force the pass. Jefferson got it back. And right now, I think they're just trying to stay on their feet.
It is. It's a war of attrition right now. These guys are tired. Very tired.
If in doubt, hold on to the ball, though. You just hold on to it and let Jason come back and get it. You can't play the way you played when you were fresh right now.
And Williamson with Scalabrini, who has 5 fouls, by the way. And there's Williamson, Hunter. Hunter with the fake and the deflection. Kidd made a great play. 3-on-1 break for the Nets. Lucius Harris gets the basket and a foul.
Big basket. Big basket. That's a great 3-on-1 fast break.
Set up by Jason Kidd on the defensive end.
But your heart goes into your mouth every time they run a fast break and Jason is not controlling the ball.
Jason gets his hand on top of the ball. Pistons thought it was a foul. 3-on-1 break. And that's the way you do it. And Chauncey Billups, if you're going to foul that man, you put him down. Foul him. Don't let him get his hands up to the rim.
And Lucius Harris will try for the three-point play, and into the game is Mike James replacing Darvin Ham. Want to talk about attrition? 3 strikes and you're out. How about 7 and you're out? And Jefferson and Prince are on deck.
Well, the one thing that you look at with all those foul outs, and they're significant on both sides, the one key advantage that the Nets have is Jason Kidd is still on the floor. And he's their leader physically and mentally.
And the three-point play by Lucius Harris. And Harris now with 10 points tonight. Those were the big ones, though, and a 3-point net lead. And how often have we said that, Ray?
You want to give it to Williamson because that's a mismatch there as far as lateral movement is concerned.
Out to Hunter, rimming the basket, and the Nets get it back.
Great effort by Scalabrini on the box out.
And you have to give Scalabrini a lot of credit, though. He doesn't have the same foot speed, but boy, is he plugging out there.
And a block by Tayshaun Prince into the hands of Billups. Billups under the basket, and what a shot by Billups underneath the basket. He has 31.
And Prince came down very awkward on the block. He's very gimpy right now. Like he twisted his knee or something.
Prince guarding Richard Jefferson. 2:35 to go. The double team on Jefferson. And here is Harris. Loose for two-pointer. Harris has 5 points in the third overtime.
And you got to respect Kurt Kittles for passing up a shot, giving it to Kidd. Kidd passed it up and got it to a fresh shooter.
3-point lead for the Nets. So now the burden is on Detroit's offense as we get close to 2 minutes to go in the third OT. Forcing the pass, Billups picked off by Jason Kidd.
Good play, smart play.
Setting it up, using time.
Chauncey Billups is trying to carry these Pistons. He may be doing a little too much right now, but I can't fault the effort.
Under 2 minutes now, and the Nets by 3. Basket good, and a foul by Richard Jefferson. And a chance, if he makes the free throw, to open up a 6-point lead. Huge in this third OT.
About both of these teams, but the Nets right now, they seem like they've been out of it 2 or 3 times and keep fighting back.
Well, because these guys, this is what the NBA is about.
Jefferson with 27 points and a 119-113 net lead. And a timeout called. You said Brian Scalabrini may be a little slow of foot with everyone else.
Of us all. These young men have been everything but cowards. Everybody's playing hard.
Billups going up, and it doesn't drop. The tip again. Loose ball out to Prince. New clock. Here's James for 3. Big one. 3-point lead.
This is incredible. This is incredible.
This is becoming, if it isn't already, a classic NBA playoff game. Game 5. Each team has won 2. Home teams have won them all. No games have been close until this one, and this made up for the other 4. In spades. 5 on the shot clock. Kidd gives it to Kittles. Kittles will have to fire the 3. And it hit the shot clock. So the Pistons, who were down by 6, Mike James cut it in half, and Detroit gets it back.
It's been big shot after big shot. Turnover, missed free throws. It's just been an unbelievable game.
And mentally now it's extremely important for guys to stay alert because obviously they're very physically worn out.
James at the point, working against Lucius Harris and Corliss Williamson with a basket. The Nets were down by 6. They trail by 1 as we get close to 1 minute remaining.
And Detroit is able to get to the foul line or get in the paint anytime they want to. In fact, there's no last line of defense back there for the Nets.
Well, there are no big people anywhere on the floor now. Either team.
Fouls have sort of balanced it out at this point, particularly once Rasheed went out.
5 on the shot clock. Jefferson in the corner. Scalabrine for 3. Brian Scalabrine. Where would the Nets be without him? 4 3-pointers.
I tell you what.
How about this kid?
Phillips. And the rebound by Harris. And with a half a minute remaining, the Nets right now in control, leading by 4. And the foul by Williamson on Scalabrine.
Scalabrine may not have quick feet, but he certainly doesn't have any fat on his fingers, does he?
No, he doesn't.
How about his threes?
And a great find right here by Richard Jefferson. Scalabrine down on the spot as he's been all night long.
Ryan Scalabrine, and the Nets kept him as the 12th man a couple of years ago because they knew he was a good man to have around, paying dividends. He had 6 points total in the first 4 games, all 6 coming in game number 3. He's 4 for 4 from 3-point range, 16 points, and looking to give the Nets a 5-point advantage.
Well, he's had the game of his life tonight, and he did it in the right fashion at the right time when Kenyon Martin and the rest of those big guys were out of the game and could not play.
And here we go again with all the threes the Nets are making. They're getting crucified again on the foul line. They've got to be smart enough or calm enough or
confident,
energized enough to make these. They can go home if they make these free throws.
Ben Wallace, Rasheed Wallace. And he makes 1.
Phillips got to try to get something. We got to call a timeout. Try to set something up. Larry
and average 3.5. And a 2-possession game as time begins to run out for the Pistons. Here is James with the lay-in, 16.9. They need to steal, and if not, a foul. But for all that, and Lucius Harris will call the timeout.
But you look at some of the fans. The inbound is extremely important.
Lindsey Hunter to Phillips behind the arc. Phillips misses a 3. Jefferson gets the rebound and the foul with 8.9. And now with 8.9, it's once again the Nets at the free throw line where they had the chances before. Larry Brown is enjoying it. Tell you what a game.
Unbelievable. And Jason Kidd is, as you see, Chauncey Billups missing this shot right here. What a great look and great steal. Unbelievable defense by Detroit. Richard Jefferson with a big rebound, but Jason Kidd got raked across the face, as you can see here. And that was trying to keep him from getting the inbound pass. That's how you keep a man from getting the inbound pass.
Well, and you got to realize, as I'm sure everybody does, that the officials don't want to make a play right now that has a determining factor on the game. They will call it if it's very obvious, but you've got to be very aggressive when you try to receive, and the inbounder becomes the most important person. You've seen it all with the Lakers in San Antonio.
Right.
Yeah.
You have this ball game. How about this NBA?
In 24 hours, we've had 2 classics, John. You're absolutely right. And Jefferson now 10 of 15 from the line, looking for his 29th point. He has played 53 minutes of playing time.
And had they made these free throws earlier, we would have all been out of here.
But I'll tell you what a classic game this has been. And the foul to give for New Jersey. So now neither team has a timeout or a foul to give. And the Pistons are 2 possessions away from the lead. Rasheed Wallace, game effort tonight. Here is the 3-point attempt, and that may do it as Jefferson is fouled with 1.4. And the New Jersey Nets, who trailed 2-0 in this best of 7, winning 2 impressively at home, coming on the road, withstanding Chauncey Billups' 3-point tying basket in regulation at the buzzer and holding on and winning this game number 5.
It looks like they're going to hold on and win. And like we said before, both of these teams, regardless of how they feel about one another, they need to respect the effort level, the effort that each one of them has given, and they should shake hands and realize that they've been a part of a classic here tonight.
Tayshaun Prince fouls out with 18 points, and the crowd treated to a tremendous effort, and the New Jersey Nets will go home with a chance to move into the Eastern Conference Finals. Last year they swept the Pistons, not quite as effortless this year.
What a game.
A lot of people fouled out, but one key guy who didn't was Jason Kidd. Scalabrine did a great job.
And a game for the ages with 9:10 still on the clock. And the Pistons will inbound.
9-10, you can get 2 shots off at that time. What a game. What a game.
A game for the ages.
Brian, people dream of having performances like this when they're called upon. How do you feel about your contributions tonight?
Well, to be honest with you, I feel great. You know, to get an opportunity to play, but, you know, I've been camping out in the corner, setting up shop out there, and then knocking down some jumpers. You know, for me, it's just a great feeling, and but, you know, I always knew I can do it.
Jason, a marathon. I can't imagine how you all feel right now, but you came here. We knew somebody had to get a road win. What does this do for the series for you guys?
Well, this was our goal, was to try to get a road win, and no matter how long it took, you know, this was a great game. You know, this is playoff basketball, and this is the people watching and stayed with us. You know, it came down to last shots, but, you know, we got lucky and we got a win, but now we haven't done anything. We got to try to, you know, end this game, end this series at home, and just as well as they can come in and beat us on our home court.
Thanks.